room with no bed.
After those 3 days, I was lied to. I was told that my dad was going to court and I would get to see him the next day. After that day, I never saw him again for 40 days.
He says they were later reunited in Arizona, but that he fears a Trump re-election. Trump accuses the Biden-Harris administration of open border policies that are hurting Americans. Vice President Kamala Harris has a Fox News interview airing at 6 Eastern tonight on Special Report with Bret Baier. More Israeli airstrikes in Beirut, even as the U.S. raises concern about how Israel is targeting Hezbollah militants.
We have told Israel directly that we oppose any Israeli campaign to certainly of near daily strikes in densely populated area in Beirut.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says they should operate in a way that does not threaten civilian lives. Lebanese health officials say a strike on one town's municipal building killed 16 people, wounding more than 50. America is listening to Fox News.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto Chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed to keep out of reach of children.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish. I'm just kind of blah.
Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites.
But I suppose they taste blah.
Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go.
Toss one in my bag?
Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
What a pretty October sky across the St. Louis area, but it is chilly as we go through our afternoon. 59 for the high. Tonight, clear skies into the 40s for evening plans. 38 for the low. Thursday, sunny skies, cold start, but a beautiful afternoon on Thursday with 67 degrees. Friday, sunny and 71. Mid-70s and sunshine for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
STS-armory.com. That's the website for you to start your process of maybe getting your conceal and carry license in Illinois. When you need to get the qualifications done, you want to go to a place you can trust. It's a very useful process, and you want to go to the best, and they're right there in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. STS-armory.com. That's the website to learn all you need to know about the things I'm saying right now, even more in depth. If you're shopping for a new firearm, if you're shopping for something for hunting, if you're shopping for, security supplies, things that you might want to have around the house that can keep you safe and protected and also sustained in the case of an emergency. They have a wealth of knowledge. And when you talk to Katie and Jesse at STS-Armory or the entire staff that is there, you are going to be in the best of hands. It's who I trust with all of those questions. You can trust them as well. Like I said, located in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, at the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive, 618-931-GUNS, STS-Armory.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Are you a business owner looking to grow and succeed? The St. Charles Regional Chamber is here to help. I'm Scott Tate, President and CEO. As the region's largest chamber with nearly 1,200 members, we offer networking, marketing resources, educational programs, and more to support your business. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or starting out, we have the right membership option for you. Explore our investor levels for exclusive benefits or try our free basic membership. For more information, visit stcharlesregionalchamber.com.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. There's a lot happening in the political world today, and we're grateful that you are here along, maybe on your lunchtime, with us to dig into it. Earlier today, Donald Trump was on with Harris Faulkner, and they're in Georgia. And Harris Faulkner it was a beautiful room. If you haven't seen the setup that this took place in, I don't know how this is imperative for you, but it's pretty. It was really pretty. It made me feel like fall in the South and Georgia and all that stuff. Listening to Donald Trump sit with Harris Faulkner, answer questions of an all-female audience, interesting stuff there. And then tonight, this evening, we are going to hear Bret Baier interview Kamala Harris. Now, that interview is going to take place like an hour before. I think they said 5:30 is when it was scheduled, but that's Eastern time. So during the Mark Reardon show, off air, Bret Baier is going to be interviewing Kamala Harris. And then Fox News is going to air the unedited, straight through 30-minute or so conversation with Kamala Harris. And I'm very excited to tell you that 97.1 is going to air that on the Mark Reardon show as well. So you're going to want to keep it right here because you're going to be able to hear Bret Baier sit down with Kamala Harris and have that interview that a lot of people are thinking could be somewhat pivotal in this election. Here's the thing that I want to say about the Bret Baier interview, because I hear a lot of people there's not a lot of people like actively, aggressively going out and being like, Bret Baier's the greatest, because people don't do that. People just go out and say, Bret Baier sucks, because people are prone to complain out loud as opposed to flatter out loud. And I really want people to sit back and wait and listen to how this interview goes. Bret Baier was talking about how the interview would be conducted and was pitched.
I think tough but fair is what I pitched it as, and I think that's what they're going to see. If you can think of the issues that people care about, that they ask pollsters, or they answer to pollsters what they care about, those questions are going to be in the mix. And, some things that perhaps haven't been asked in other interviews, there's time. 30 minutes is enough time to press and follow up, and I think we'll go down a number of different roads.
Well, I like that Bret Baier was saying that. Do you know who he was talking to? I don't have that on the...
I don't.
So Bret Baier is trying to explain the contents of how this was pitched to the Harris campaign so that you can understand the pretense with which they accepted the request for the interview. I essentially interview people for a living. That is what I do. So I know what it's like to interview people. I have not interviewed a presidential candidate. Is that true? I wonder if I've ever interviewed a presidential candidate. Rick Santorum, did he run in 2016?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he did. He was in the 2016 field. I've interviewed people who ran for president. I don't know if I've ever interviewed somebody who was currently in an active primary. Certainly I've never been able to have the opportunity to interview somebody who was the candidate or the party's nominee. It's a very high stakes situation. That is very much so. There's a lot of pressure in that. But Bret Baier can't get swallowed up by pressure. It's his job. It's something that when you know how to do your job, you know this no matter what you're doing. If you're in accounting would be incredibly intimidating to somebody who came in and you're like, here are the books. You'd be like, I've got nothing. I don't know what to do with these numbers. It's incredibly intimidating. But if you know it, you're confident in it. And I'm confident that Brett Baer knows what it takes to have and conduct this very high-stakes interview. However, he says 30 minutes there. He says, there's some time there to press on the issues. That's the question that I have today for Brett Baer. How do you address and approach your conversation with Kamala Harris? Because what America is not looking for at this point, it's too late for Kamala Harris at this point to be offering brand new conceptual layouts of this is how I'm going to secure the border. Like, she has had the opportunity to do that, and she's taken the pitch every single time that she's been asked these questions to go deep into the issues. She says her talking points. She rephrases her talking points. She says everything that she wants you to hear in triplicate. She'll say, like, dreams, hopes, and aspirations, fears, worries, and concerns. So she says that. It fills time, 30 minutes. It doesn't take a long time when you speak in that manner to fill up 30 minutes and to say virtually nothing. So she's trying over and over and over again, and in my opinion, very successfully, to never have to say anything that can pin her down. To never have to put anything out there for you to consume that makes you go, whoa, that's the red line. I'm a single issue voter on this. You're not interested in securing the border? I'm out. You're interested in letting, moms and doctors kill babies even after the womb? I'm out on that. She doesn't want to say any of that stuff. She's got to say things that hint. You ever had, what's a good example of this? Let's say like a cookie. Have you ever had a cookie and maybe the sugar was wrong when it was measured out? So you buy, this is like what vegan food tastes like to me. This is a side issue. But have you ever bitten into a cookie looks great, it looks absolutely delicious, and you go in to bite into the cookie and it's like not sweet? There's something that's missing. It looks right, it feels right, and then when you get into the substance of it, you're like, something is off here. Kamala Harris is like a vegan cookie. It's kind of a lie. It is a vegan form of substance, but it is not a cookie. Not one in the way that you are going to consume. Just here it is, take it or leave it. You take it because it looks great, and it's just completely a letdown because it doesn't taste the way you expect it to. You don't you're consuming this thing, and everything seems right, but then when you get into it, it's clearly not what you expected. Brett Baer has the opportunity in this interview today to go quality over quantity. If you get 30 minutes with a guest that you get to interview, if you get 30 minutes with a candidate for president of the United States, you're going to want to talk about a whole host of things. You're going to want to touch on the things that she's been asked on all of these interviews, but Brett Baer is going to want to have his thumbprint on it. Brett Baer is going to want to have his time to ask those questions. And that's where, for an interviewer, the opportunity for your own ego to overcome the conversation so that you can get credit for talking about the border, for talking about education, for talking about healthcare, for talking about taxes, for talking about housing, for talking about Israel and Gaza and all of these things. You want credit for talking about all of it. But the truth is you could talk about all of it and get nothing out of it. What Brett Baer needs to do in this interview right now is ask a single question. Pick his favorite issue that he thinks the American people want to hear about the most. It's probably groceries and gas. It's probably your ability, while you're working your tail off in middle America right now, to afford the living that you could afford 4 or 5 years ago. Take one subject, have two waiting in the wing, and then show America whether or not Kamala Harris has the ability to make any sense about any topic whatsoever. We need to know that Kamala Harris knows for her own benefit that she has a full grasp on actual real solutions. It's more about knowing if she has the process, the mental capacity to solve the issues that are at hand. I believe she has the mental capacity to memorize lines, to regurgitate them, and to stall through an interview. She has the ability to get from point A to point B without saying anything of substance, without having to react in any capacity as a normal human being in conversation. I don't need to know from Brett Baier how she's going to solve the Israel situation, how she's going to solve the Ukraine situation, how she's going to solve the southern border, how she's going to solve grocery prices, how she's going to solve gas prices, what she's going to do with energy, what she's going to do with education, and the fact that our kids aren't learning because we have our priorities completely out of order in our public education system. I don't need to know what she's going to do with housing. I don't need to know what she's going to do with taxes or with tax rebates or with child tax credits or the cost of child care. I don't need to know the details and all of this in 30 minutes because it is impossible to do that. I want to know that she has the cognitive ability to have a human-to-human conversation, one that might take place between her and another foreign leader when a new conflict arises. Is she wise? Is she capable of listening to hear, not listening to wait for her turn to speak because she's got a line to say? Who's giving her the line? Whose presupposition is being inserted into these conversations that we aren't electing? Can Kamala Harris think on her feet? Can she actually listen to the person across the table? Is she capable of doing that? I don't think she is. And what I feel like Brett Baier has the opportunity to do today, and I'm not so sure that he will, is to be willing to go deep into one issue, to push back on every single canned response that she gives, even if we only get through one subject, maybe two in this interview. Well, Brett, why didn't you ask about foreign policy? Brett, why didn't you ask about the Electoral College and Tim Walz saying he wants it to be tossed out and Kamala Harris saying, which one is it? Which side are you on? Don't look at your key subject in this interview and throw the baby out with the bathwater if your key issue didn't get addressed. If Brett Baier decides to expose Kamala for the kind of actual thinker that she is uniquely herself. None of these interviews, save maybe the 60 Minutes one kind of, which then they went back and edited. None of these interviews have put Kamala Harris in a place where she has to think on her feet and where they have been willing to expose the fact that she cannot think on her feet. That's what we want to hear. Can she handle it? There's two things. When you're electing a world leader, when you're electing a representative to serve in the highest governmental office in our land, you need to know two things. What do they believe, and how do they get things done? We don't 100% know what she believes, but we have no clue how she is going to get anything done. And if she has the capacity to do it. Donald Trump, you have an idea of where he is. We've seen it before. His resume, we've lived his resume. We were there. We know what Donald Trump is capable of doing. But you know that whatever the policy is, he's going to find out a way to get it done. He doesn't have to sell that to you. He doesn't have to convince you that he has the capacity to look straight into the eyes of the most powerful enemies of the United States, look them in the eyes and get stuff done. We know he can do it. Now, you may know that he can do it and at the same time not love what he's trying to do. That's a different story. But with Kamala Harris, we don't know what she wants to do because she won't tell us. And I have no confidence that she has the ability to get any of it done. And if she doesn't have the ability to get any of it done, who's doing the work? That's what I want to know. And I really hope that Brett Baier today goes deep into quality and forgets about quantity. Expose the candidate for who she is. Maybe she's fantastic and she's been held back by her team who has not put her in a position to be able to have these conversations where she thinks on her feet. Maybe Kamala Harris is much more capable than any of us ever actually knew, and she hasn't had the opportunity to show it. Give her the opportunity to show it. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. But don't try to tick off all the different subjects in 30 quick minutes, because you cannot do it. Show us who Kamala Harris is. That's what the American electorate needs to know. And like I said, Mark Reardon Show, right here on 97.1 FM Talk, Fox News Radio affiliate here in St. Louis. We are going to be able to cover that directly for you this evening, so make sure you keep it locked in on 97.1. The YouTube live chat poll, this is a spillover from our conversations yesterday, which I actually went back and listened to. I never do that with the show. I went back and listened to it because I wanted to kind of listen to the caller that we had, Pastor Paul, who called in the 12 o'clock hour. I wanted to hear what he had to say again, just as a listener. And then also our conversations about it. And there's a lot of discussion right now about Christians and their willingness to show up and vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris to cast a vote in this election. There's concern that 30% of Christians are not registered. I don't think that that's new this year, but I think it's just a concern that's being highlighted in this election where every single vote matters. So the question that we discussed a little bit yesterday that I'm excited to bring back on the show today is Donald Trump a Christian? That's our Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. If you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you'll see on our live broadcast right now in the chat portion, that question is right there on the top. Is Donald Trump a Christian? Yes, no, or it doesn't matter. I'm not sure how this is going to shake out today. I'll be interested to see what you all think. So make sure you weigh in. Leave a comment if you so choose. We'll feature those throughout the course of the show. Bruce LeVell, Trump's senior campaign surrogate, is going to be on with us when we return. He's the former executive director, the National Diversity Coalition for Trump. We're going to talk to Bruce LeVell about Barack Obama and his words to black men saying, come on, you afraid to elect a woman? What's Bruce think about it? We'll find out next.
Who says I can't get stoned? Call up a girl that I used to know.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Meet all the girls in the county line. Wait on fate to send a sign. Who says I can't take time?
I'm going to talk to you about Window World, windowworld.stlewis.com. If you are looking for window replacements in your home, you want to start your process, or at least finish it, at Window World. They have the entire system set up to feature you as the important part of this whole transaction. They want to make sure the customer is satisfied, and they do that over and over and over again. You can go online and check out their reviews. They also are very proud of the agencies that they report to. They feel very confident about their commitment to customer service, as shown by an excellent track record with both the BBB and other reporting agencies. They offer a lifetime warranty with their replacement windows. When you are looking to install new windows in and you're looking to make that investment, they also currently are offering 36 months same-as-cash financing with approved credit. This is a great opportunity to get windows replaced in your home. As the weather is going cooler, you want to make sure the air that you're heating stays in your home, and windows are a number one way to do that. Call 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800. Mention this show, Annie Frey, when you call, and you're going to be entered to win a drawing for 4 St. Louis Blues tickets during the upcoming season. Window World will draw one time each month this fall. 314-993-1800. Mention the Annie Frey Show, windowworld.stlewis.com.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. To see someone that is in pain, I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process business, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Fall weather is on its way. Time to schedule your heating system check to make sure you heat your home safely. Schedule your heating system check today at aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Every one of these initiatives, by the way, Kamala Harris is talking about, mentorship, apprenticeship, these are all buzzwords. These are all buzzwords. You know, I'm 23 years old. Now you want to give me an apprenticeship? You're not even talking about long-term solutions for my children. None of this is for long-term. Oh, health initiative, get the health initiative. You know how they're going to help black people in health? They're going to expand screening, preventative screenings. That's not helping. That's not helping. That's the kind of thing when they tell black people, go out and improve your credit. For what? To be a better consumer? I mean, all of this stuff is ridiculous. This is all the stuff this is in their bag of tricks. But the bag of tricks is old, it's got cobwebs on it, and it's left black people wanting and hurting.
Charles Payne just kind of laid it all out there for Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino. I loved watching that. He kept taking his glasses off. I knew he meant business when he was doing that. Barack Obama went out and admonished some black men, you know, like, come on, you got to step up here. I think there was even an allegation that maybe they weren't okay with voting for a female for president. And, you know, if these voters that happen to be black men see something in Donald Trump that's valuable, Barack Obama thinks you're doing the wrong thing. So we thought, let's talk to Bruce LeVell about it. He's a Trump senior campaign surrogate. He's a former executive director for National Diversity Coalition for Trump. Bruce, welcome back to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Annie. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Honor is ours. When you heard Barack Obama talking to black men about their vote, what was your reaction to what he had to say to them?
You mean coming out speaking at them and not with them, and down at them and not as a conversation? I mean, it's what I have said for day one in 2007 when this one-hit wonder, Barack Obama, came out of nowhere and ran for president. And I've been saying it for many, many years that we knew that he wasn't going to go in and do anything, you know, even back then, let alone in a second term. And obviously, you've seen the declining support for black men or black people in general in the Democrat Party every election cycle. And of course, obviously President Trump has made, has pretty much set the record in terms of turning out black votes since Lincoln, Nixon, and of course himself in the 2016 and 2020 election. And, obviously this election cycle will be historical. It'll be record numbers in black Americans that are supporting the Republican Party, especially President Trump.
So Bruce LeVell speaking with us right now. Obama, Biden, Harris, are they getting the electorate wrong? Is Donald Trump getting the electorate right? What's coming together right now to create this shift in how people are willing to cast their votes and even publicly talk about how they're casting their votes?
Well, I think for President Trump, and his credit, I've known him since 1991. We've been friends. I met him in Atlanta. And, he's always been out in the public eye. Listen, he's been in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's been on the Bobby Brown video. All the rappers know him, and he's been in, I can't even tell you how many songs he's been included in. So he's been very immersed in all types of culture, entertainment culture, boxing, wrestling, of course, Hollywood as his apprentice, the Apprentice show, et cetera, et cetera. So, obviously the left made the narrative that he was a racist and all this other junk and created this lie like the Russian hoax collusion. And, they control 90% of the outlets, especially social media. And of course, Jack Dorsey and Zuckerbucks, controlling the algorithms and how the messaging flowed. So, and all, the respect for that happening, the black culture was immersed in the big bad boogeyman. So lo and behold, thank God, there's great shows like the Annie Frey show and many other podcasts that are out there that can go out and talk about, really free information without it being controlled by the typical big media conglomerates. So, but also more than anything, a complete contrast from the last, from President Trump's administration. I mean, come on, let's be honest. That 4 years, there was no wars, the first time a sitting president. Number two, the lowest black unemployment since 1972 in my lifetime, and I volunteered for Ronald Reagan in high school, dating myself. And also, going into understanding, watch this one, Annie, this is a key issue right here, is the disparity, meaning the generational wealth gap in black culture, especially in the business community, as well as the ownership of retail commodities. Like myself, my wife and I in Atlanta, we understand that there is a void. He knows it. So that's why, of course, the opportunity zones came out to try to figure out a way to energize, or you might use the word revitalize or inspire black culture into building businesses and building back the generational wealth. And the generational wealth, and this is factual, for many, many decades have come under, quote, failed Democrat policies for many, many generations. So thank God, I actually wrote about this in the Washington Times. I contribute to them sometimes about breaking the generational voting curse. That's what I call this. So this is what you're seeing. A lot of black Americans, especially black men, is like, listen, I'd like to have a slice of that pie just like everyone else. And President Trump's with low taxes and, of course, the First Step Act, which the number 3, when I was going down, that was, let a lot of black men out, especially that had 20, 30-year prison sentences over possessions of marijuana. The very candidate Kamala Harris that laughed when she locked up black men for marijuana now wants to put it in a plan and pander to us, thinking that all black men smoke weed. So I understand, Charles. I'm glad you did break that out top of your show. Charles and I are good friends. I've been on his show. We have the same sentiment as it relates to the opportunities in black culture. Just be fair and treat us like everyone else, and just get out the way, basically.
Yeah. One thing that he said at the end of, Charles Payne said at the end of his hit there with Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino was that he said, when I sit around with my friends, He said they all are registered Democrats, but if you just listen to the things that they were saying, they all talk Republican. What's the barrier there to translating what they've been told or what they know as far as their voter? You could be registered as a Democrat and still vote Republican from time to time. What's the barrier there that exists, and is it coming down?
Well, I can tell you the major barrier. Watch this, and this is your listeners that they probably don't see this. The biggest, the largest, most, should I say, the worst form of voter suppression and voter intimidation comes from, unfortunately, in black culture when a black man or black woman chooses to go pull the Republican ballot election cycle. Number two, let alone be vocal about it or just say, hey, I'm going to do something different. The unfortunate part of it is a lot of folks are operate under, being scared, obviously, to come forward because of the persecution, because of the demonization, because of, quote, the cancel culture of someone coming out. I'll give you many examples. That's why, a lot of Republican operatives, especially consultants, who are white, generally ask black business people like myself and me, hey, can you get a business to come do an event, blah, blah. And I said, it sounds easy, but the unfortunate part of it's a different world if you open your doors and invite, a Republican candidate in and what have you. The persecution, the intimidation is so, overwhelmingly that a lot of folks are quiet but just choose not to. That's one of them. And number two is, like I said earlier, is the habit, the generational voting curse. Well, my mom did, my dad did. And the other thing too, respectfully, Annie, when you're culturally in just one particular environment, let's just say you're in a 99% black community, you go to a 99% black church, you go to a 99% school that's black Americans that attend there. So you're immersed in your culture. So whoever comes to that area, and particularly the Democrat Party, and they'll sow seeds to the big churches in the community, to the pastor's foundation, and says, we've been a great partner with you. We'd love to have your support. So what happens is that community that's pretty much all they know. And so when someone from the other side of the party comes in and just challenges that, then the persecution comes on the pastor of the church, the community. We'll cut this off. We'll do this if you do that. So essentially, it's kind of like you're in prison in a way, in your mind and in your community. And this is not the only culture that goes through it sometimes, unfortunately. It happens in white culture, too, where, don't talk at the dinner table, don't talk in the community because 90% of your family who are white, vote Democrat. So I think respectfully, especially for me and my dad's side, we're civil rights pioneers here in Atlanta in the South who fought, my uncle especially, who was with A.D. King, which is my sister Alveda King's dad, who the whole movement was just to get to the poll, to vote. That's all it really was, not without political or any intimidation or persecution. And so now, to this point and to your question, this is where a lot of it stems from, is how dare you break with our family? How dare you break with our culture of what we are? We've always been this way. What are you doing? So thank God it is breaking more, and people are waking up and becoming independent thinkers and having your own decision, your own mind, without worrying about being persecuted or canceling your hair salon, which had happened because you allowed a Republican candidate come in to say hello and do a radio interview in there.
Man.
So it has gotten better, and I understand Charles's passion because him and I are pretty much the same age. And we've been around this game for, 40 years. So has it gotten better? A little, yes. Do we have a long way to go? Absolutely.
It sounds like we're speaking with Bruce LeVell right now with the Trump campaign. I feel like what you're saying is this barrier that exists for individuals in the black community who speak like Republicans. They probably would vote like Republicans, but they're registered Democrats, and that's culturally the way it is. is a great success for the Democrat Party to have them have that mentality, that barrier has been built successfully by the Democrat Party. I'm curious if you think that it's also hand in hand a failure of the Republican Party for that barrier to be as strong as it has been, and if you see it breaking down more under Trump than you've seen it under other Republicans.
Well, that's a great question, because one thing that historically has frustrated me more, and I'll just say it, when, I was a surrogate for George W. in 99 and 04. And one of the things is that I call it the low-hanging fruit for many, many years, is to put the value and the money into those particular environments and go after it instead of just getting by with just enough to win. Now, let me fast forward it to what makes President Trump so profound. And a lot of that has to do with his upbringing. One of the things is his faith that, he doesn't share openly, but I can tell you, your listeners, I know he's 100% believer, that I can, witness. But one of the things is that he has been immersed in all different cultures, and he understands that. And I mean, come on, I was part of building one of the largest diversity coalitions in the presidential Republican candidate's history in 2016. So I understand, and we had all types of cultures that wanted to come under one tent to support President Trump. I mean, that was his idea. So, to embrace that, to break down the walls and just say, listen, I want it fair for everyone, but I do see the void over in this particular culture for many generations. And then watch this, Annie, if you remember this, look at your roads, look at your schools, look at your community. You've been voting 30, 40, 50, 60 years the same way. What the hell do you have to lose? Remember that quote?
Yes.
That's very direct. And, of course, people spun it around and tried to make it racist and all the other typical kick the dead horse stuff that they did in the past. But that's true. And so that base has been challenged by none other than President Donald John Trump. When to your point, Annie, they lacked it. I always like to say that historically, a lot of the Republicans, they pretended like they understood it, but they deep down inside didn't really understand it. And they didn't want to understand it in some capacity. And if we can just get by with, 5% or 3%, we still win, we're happy. No, go after all of it like President Trump did. So this is changing. This is, it's going to be different even the next election cycle. The cool thing about this, Annie, is that he's inspiring a lot of great America First patriots who just want to serve the people. My good friend Byron Donalds, who I speak with regularly, my good friend Burgess Owens up in Utah, Wesley Hunt in Texas, Anna Polina, which is my other congresswoman down here in Florida, doing a great job. And, of course, many other brand new America First patriots that came out and got elected under the Trump era that want to carry that torch to the next generation, whether it be city council. And really, if I could respectfully say this to your audience, if you're listening to this show right now and you're looking around in your community and you see openings in the city council, the commission seat, the state court, superior court, the solicitor's office, and you're a good steward of the money, and you want to be that patriot, please run for that seat.
Amen.
Please. And run for that seat, and then don't stay long and get stale. Don't make it a career. After 1 or 2 terms, look at your other friend or your neighbor that's the same, similar qualities, and inspire them to run the same way and let them serve. And then after a couple of terms, don't stay long, don't get stale, as they say in the church. Don't sit down sometimes.
Yeah.
And then move it on to the next generation.
Bruce LeVell with us. If I may, just one last quick question, because I find it to be a very important one. You've laid the groundwork of what has gotten us here. People remember what it was like to live in a Donald Trump administration. We're here in St. Louis, Missouri. We know a lot about historically Democrat blue city, just despair. We're sitting in the middle of it right now. Donald Trump has talked about New York City. Donald Trump has talked about Chicago. Donald Trump has talked about blue cities that are often just completely left out of the conversation when we're talking about Republican presidential candidacies. What will Donald Trump do for diverse areas like St. Louis? What would a Trump presidency do to give these people opportunities that Kamala Harris and the blue policies that have destroyed them won't. Bruce, can you hear me?
Hello, Annie.
Yep. Can you hear me okay?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We're in a bad zone. I apologize if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear. Can you hear me okay? You know what? I think we're just gonna go ahead and put him on hold, and Ethan, you can just tell him that the connection was bad. We'll reconnect with him because that's a question I really would like to get an answer to him. But we knew that when we booked him that he was going to be traveling. He's going to Florida to help with the hurricane efforts, which is pretty amazing. Glad that he was able to be with us. And when you're traveling, sometimes that's just the case. I love talking to Bruce LeVell. He's a wonderful warrior for the things that are good and right, just not just politics. So Bruce LeVell with us, Trump senior campaign surrogate, former executive director, National Diversity Coalition for Trump, on X at Bruce_LeVell. Go talk to him. Tell him you appreciated him being on the show if you so choose. And we will connect with him again another time. Let's take a quick break. Ryan Wiggins is back. So what are we going to talk about? He's got some etiquette. He's got some etiquette suggestions for us, and we need this in our life, don't we? Welcome Ryan Wiggins back to the studio. Next on Wiggins America on the Annie Frey Show.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloor.com, but they're also located in 3 different spaces across the St. Louis area. If you haven't shopped at Michael's Flooring Outlet in their locations yet, may I suggest you visit them in Darden Prairie in West County. It's on Olive Boulevard, a mile off 270 West on Olive. You can also visit Michael's Flooring Outlet in St. Charles County on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. Michael's Flooring Outlet has a commitment to quality products but great customer service, all wrapped up in a great price. That's what matters when you're shopping for flooring. You do not want to sacrifice. You're not looking for the cheapest floor that you can possibly put in, although I'm sure they have an option for you along those lines. What you want is quality flooring that's going to last with the investment that you're going to make in it. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to transform the look, the sleek feel of your home, of your newly finished basement, maybe your completely renovated kitchen. You're going to get rid of maybe some vinyl that's in there and put in some luxury vinyl plank. And everything wraps together with a great price and customer service that you can count on to make sure that you're getting the very best in your purchase. If you're looking to make a flooring purchase in the near future, give Michael's Flooring Outlet an opportunity to earn your business. Online at igotfloor.com.
Did you know you can unlock the equity from your current home and stay in it while you find your next home or while your new home's being built? Mark Cox here for my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. She can do that for you. Here's a problem many home sellers find themselves in. I want to sell my home, but where will I move? Plus, I need the funds from my current home to go purchase our next home. Gloria understands this. That's why she created her Sell and Stay program, which allows you to sell your home, get the cash, and stay in the home for up to 12 months. I love Gloria Liu because she thinks of every dilemma a home seller could go through and provides a guaranteed solution. If you need the cash from your current home to buy your next home, here's my recommendation. Call the only agent I trust, Gloria Liu, and ask her about her Sell and Stay program, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-296-7260. That's 800-296-7260. 800-296-7260.
If you need someone you can trust for your eye care, go see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Kim St. Ange here. Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry are experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote November 5th. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org. That's yourmissouriJudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, the YouTube live chat poll for today, we've been discussing it. The chat is lively. We'd like you to participate in this discussion. Is Donald Trump a Christian? Yes, no, or doesn't matter? Yes, chime in on that question by typing in Annie Frey on YouTube and finding the Annie Frey Show page. 12:51, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voters guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
Once there was this kid who got into an accident and couldn't come to school, but when he finally came...
Wiggins!
Wiggins!
Hi, welcome back.
There. Hi, hello. I am here to talk about etiquette.
Slacker taking 2 days off.
Yeah, well, you got to have a little fun every now and then. We come in here, it's just so business.
That's what they keep trying to get us to do.
Yeah. So I have some etiquette here, and it's all about how you talk on the phone.
I don't like to.
Well, this is why, because you got to know the rules before you go into these conversations. Otherwise, you look like a crazy person. And there's the survey, so it's not necessarily a yes or no. It's what do Americans prefer on a variety of subjects concerning talking on the phone. The first one is eating while on the phone.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Man.
No.
Now, I want to see if you guys are among the majority or the minority of all of these questions. Would you be in the majority or the minority on
Is there
eating?
anybody who thinks that's okay?
There are a certain percentage that think it's fine to eat while
Does
on
anybody in here think that's okay?
I think it depends on who
Ron-
you're
oh,
talking.
Ethan,
hold on.
Ethan,
I think it depends on.
No, I go ahead.
Who you're talking to and what you're eating. If it is going to be noticeable in any way through the phone that what you're eating.
What can you be eating that isn't
Mashed
noticeable?
potatoes job interview.
Rose.
Yeah.
No?
Okay, no.
Okay,
No.
just making sure.
No, I mean if I'm talking to like my best friend or a parent and I'm gonna like throw in something
Respect
that's
your
not going to
elders.
be.
It's number 4 in the 10 Commandments.
Oh, brother.
Annie, remember when you were in high school and you just talk on the phone for hours about nothing? You just sit there.
Yeah.
What
You get
about
hungry.
what about in one of those conversations? You're just on the phone.
You won't
just
have
to
any
be
friends.
on the phone.
They won't talk to you.
You don't eat for hours? How do you live?
You don't always have those phone
Ryan's
conversations.
like, how can you not eat for like 2 hours?
Yeah, I don't get that.
No, Annie's right. Don't eat on the phone.
There's never a time.
I'll have to agree.
I don't even, when I'm on this microphone, when I swallow, I mute my mic.
Only 12% of Americans say that eating on the phone is okay. So it's a vast majority that say you cannot eat on the phone.
12% would sway an election.
How about speaking loudly in public places?
Oh. No.
No? Okay, yeah.
Don't be the loud talker on the airplane. Don't be that person. Bring your voice down. Some people just have a voice that carries.
That's me. I talk loudly. When I'm just having normal
there's
conversation.
a difference between talking loudly and having a permeating voice. Maybe you could be both.
I think it is both. I have both.
But, yeah, nobody else, the person you're talking to in any public place should be the only person who can understand the details of the discussion.
What's way worse, though, is when you're talking loudly, but they're also on speaker.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
that's terrible.
Worse.
No.
13% of Americans say that it is okay to speak loudly, which means the vast majority
they're probably
say
eating while they're
it is
talking.
not, yeah, they're just eating a sub sandwich, yelling on their phone. That's fine. I'll take a survey. Using a speakerphone in a shared environment. You just kind of address this one.
Don't.
Agreed. Don't.
You know, don't do it. But at the same time, I'm also thinking about when my husband goes to the grocery store and I'm back there with the kids and he's trying to figure out like what yogurt I wanted or something. He knows which yogurt now. But if we're talking
That's a ridiculous example because he already knows. But.
Sometimes we'll FaceTime.
Okay.
And if you're FaceTiming, it's essentially a speakerphone call, but it's not a speakerphone call. But it's the same effect. So maybe I'm guilty of this in a way that I didn't realize that I was.
The majority of Americans, well, only 20%, but a little bit higher. 20% say it is not okay, or it is okay. 20% say it is okay to use a speakerphone in a shared environment. How about shifting the focus from the call to interact with someone else nearby without informing the caller or receiver?
I can't stand when I am on the phone talking to somebody, and if I'm at home and I'm parenting at the same time, the push and pull between like, no, don't climb on that. No, don't do that. No, when I get caught up in that, I will tell the person I'm talking to, can I call you right back? I have to take care of something at home. And then I will, and hopefully they're like chill with that. And then I say to the person, or I say to my kids like XYZ, mommy's on the phone. And then I will go back to have that conversation. Because it is so distracting and disrespectful if the person's just sitting on the other line waiting to be talked to while I'm talking to all these other people in my life.
I hate getting an important call that I've been waiting for. Maybe not like important to my entire life, but something like, oh, I've been waiting to talk to this person.
Timely, necessary,
yeah, something
whatever.
I need to talk to this person. And they call right when I'm about to go up to the drive-through speaker. So I'm like, both of these things.
How frequently does this happen?
Pretty often.
That's where it gets me too.
It gets you too?
Yeah, usually in the drive-through of scooters.
See?
Like somebody will call as I'm getting ready to order, and it's like, oh, hold on.
Yeah. Hang on. Can you just hold on for a second?
Yeah.
Oh. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Most people, again, only 22% say it is okay to do that, to shift your focus. How about answering or ending calls without a greeting?
Oh, gosh, I have to teach my children this. My son, he said, he called my father-in-law, his grandpa, and he referred to him, because I'm like trying so hard to be like, you have to have a proper conversation. And he called him Mr. Fry. It's like, that's your grandpa. You just call him grandpa, but you could say, hi, grandpa. You don't have to switch over to Mr. Fry. So I'm taking it a little too far, I think.
I can't really imagine doing this. I always say hello and okay, see you, bye, whatever. I can't imagine how you
But they don't
do a phone call without
You grew up
those
making
things.
phone calls. They don't. Children don't. I would say even maybe Ethan's age, like I would say Gen Z on the whole has not grown up having phone conversations because you could always do it in text.
Yeah.
Real quick, how do you answer the phone though without saying hello? What do you do?
Ethan professionally answers phones. He knows what he's doing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, usually, just saying really quickly, just getting into conversation or hanging up the call without saying goodbye.
Anything.
That's the thing more so.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back with Deroy Murdock and Jim Carafano. Don't go away. Lutheran education is accessible. It's within reach. It is not a situation where you have a huge expense that you can't manage, and their schools are really far away. We have 37 Lutheran elementary schools in the St. Louis bi-state region. Did you know that? And did you know that if you go to LESA.STL.org/Annie, Lisa with an E, LisaSTL.org/Annie, you can start just learning. You don't have to make any phone calls. You don't have to go anywhere, go to any open houses, but they are having open houses around this time of year, to understand the amazing education that is within your reach, where you get a very high quality education, where they understand the realities of IEPs and of STEM education and extracurriculars and music and all of the things that go into a wonderful education. It could be yours for your child or your grandchild. Learn more by going online to lesastl.org/Annie.
FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
From one battleground to another, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Vice President Kamala Harris heading from Michigan to Pennsylvania and calling former President Trump increasingly unstable. Also sidestepping a reporter's question about former President Obama's recent suggestion that black men may be hesitant to support a woman for president.
Important point that I will make over and over again is I don't assume to have the vote of any demographic locked down. I have to earn their vote, and I'm going to work as I've been to earn that vote and to win on November 5th.
Harris has a Fox News interview airing at 6 Eastern tonight on Special Report with Brett Baer after a Trump town hall earlier today hosted by Fox's Harris Faulkner.
Women from Georgia gathered to ask the former president questions on everything from daycare costs to abortion, foreign policy, and the economy.
I want to thank you for coming into a room full of women that the current administration would consider domestic terrorists. But you're here with us. So thank you.
He was asked how he'll address inflation and high prices.
We're going to bring down your energy costs, and with that, everything's going to follow.
He said on abortion that it would be left to the states, noting that even red states like Kansas and Ohio put it to voters who opted to give women abortion rights. But he said on fertility treatments,
we're totally in favor of IVF.
He said he would work on readjusting the child tax credit to make it, as he put it, more fair.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. As Israel continues airstrikes in Lebanon targeting Hezbollah, White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the U.S. does not want to see near-daily strikes in heavily populated areas.
We have been really clear. It is critical. It is critical that these operations be conducted in a way that does not threaten the lives of civilians. Conversations that we will continue to have with the Israeli government.
Meantime, just getting reports of the Israeli Prime Minister holding an emergency meeting after the U.S. set a deadline to increase humanitarian aid in Gaza. America is listening to Fox News.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish. I'm just kind of blah. Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites.
But I suppose they taste blah.
Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go.
Toss one in my bag?
Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
What a pretty October sky across the St. Louis area, but it is chilly as we go through our afternoon. 59 for the high. Tonight, clear skies into the 40s for evening plans. 38 for the low. Thursday, sunny skies, cold start, but a beautiful afternoon on Thursday with 67 degrees. Friday, sunny and 71. Mid-70s and sunshine for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Are you in the market for a vehicle? Well, check out CassinsCan.com. That's the website. When others can't, Cassins can. Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer. Waiting for you to reach out to them so that you can get that conversation started. Whether you are starting the long-haul research project, that's kind of the way I try to do vehicles, so you know what the pricings are, the options are, or if all of a sudden you ran into a dumpster or something and you messed up your car and you need a new vehicle. What you do is you reach out to Cassins at 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712. Give them a call, tell them Annie sent you, and ask them about the vehicle you're looking for. If they don't have it, they'll find it for you. And they will be fair, they will be honest, and they will create a situation where the next time you need to buy a vehicle, you're just like the Frey family is. Going back to Cassins because I trust them to be fair, to be honest, and to sell me a very good quality vehicle that I will continue to put in their hands for maintenance and service along the way. I trust Cassins. They're located in Glen Carbon, Illinois, a mile north on off of 270 on 159. Tell them Annie sent you. Visit them online at CassinsCan.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. What if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
You can help those affected by this disastrous hurricane season by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Message and data rates apply. Together, we can help those who've been affected. Thanks for helping. Conservatives Care on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
So Obama is talking to the brothers right there. And the clip of Barack Obama standing in this, I don't know if it was like a lobby or something like that, talking to these individuals, you could really see Obama, but you couldn't, am I right? You can't see the people who he's talking to.
Yeah, like half a guy off the side of the screen is about it.
Who looks like he's probably there with Barack Obama.
Yeah, he looks like he's part of the campaign.
He's the one who's on the side of the talking to, not being the talked at. We spoke with Bruce LeVell a little bit earlier from the Trump campaign about this issue, but I'm really excited to have Deroy Murdoch back on with us, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, and he's got a story out right now on this particular issue because Barack Obama, it seemed like there was a little bit of a panic button that had been pressed when he was delivering this message to, in his terms, the brothers. Deroy, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Annie, great to be with you.
What'd you make of all of that? Of Barack Obama's, especially his choice of words in his little lecture he gave?
Absolutely. Well, I wrote a piece about this that's on the American Spectator right now. My headline is Men to Boys, Obama Treats the Brothers Like Babies. And it's just so objectionable, this whole idea of Obama coming along and lecturing black men and saying, well, we're somehow going off the ranch or going off the plantation. How dare we not support Kamala Harris? And it's not acceptable. And he doesn't say, look, you disagree on the issues, or maybe you don't understand a record, or whatever it is. But the whole idea is, we're just a bunch of sexists and misogynists, and we hate women, and that kind of thing. Deeply, deeply condescending, very insulting. And a lot of black men have responded to this by saying, excuse me, who are you to tell us what to think? I mean, I thought the whole idea of the civil rights movement was that we are individuals, we have our own minds, we have our own ways of thinking and our beliefs and philosophies, and we can come up with whatever decision we want as to who ought to be the next president of the United States. And we don't need Obama's permission before we go to the polls to pull the lever for whichever candidate we think would do the best job as commander-in-chief.
Deroy, not Barack Obama, Joe Biden himself told Charlemagne the God, a black man who is very respected in broadcasting, has a huge following, that if somebody's questioning as a black individual whether or not they're going to vote for Joe Biden or the alternative in 2020, then Joe Biden said, "You ain't black." And I thought, wow, you really just put it out there. We don't have to speculate anymore about how the Democrat Party feels about black individuals and where their alliances should be. Was this Barack Obama essentially saying the same thing to these individuals, just in his more articulate Barack Obama type of way?
Yeah, absolutely right. I think this was Obama's Joe Biden moment, or if you will, his "you ain't black" moment. Precisely correct, and it's so incredibly uninformed as well. I mean, this argument makes absolutely no sense because you've seen the black vote and particularly the black male vote moving away from the Democrat Party well before Kamala Harris came around. You know, in 2012, I should say in 2020, Trump earned 19%. Let me backtrack. 2016, he earned I believe it was 13% of the black male vote. By 2020, that went up to 19%, and that was Trump versus Joe Biden. So there's no women involved. There's no opportunity for misogyny there. And then up until the point where Kamala Harris stepped in and Joe Biden was suffered the coup d'etat, even there you saw an increase in the numbers for Trump from 19% early this year. Two different surveys had black men voting, 23% of black men supporting Trump. So this is, again, a further move from 13% to 19% up to 23% when there were no women involved. Kamala Harris was still VP. She was not the nominee. The nomination had not been stolen from Joe Biden quite yet. So you can't say this is the brothers who aren't feeling good about a woman being in the White House. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with disenchantment with the Democrat Party, with their record, with their ideas, and the performance of the Harris Biden government. So this has nothing to do with we don't like women or anything like that. So this is an incredibly uninformed and very ignorant comment on the part of Obama towards black men in this country.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, a nationally syndicated columnist, a Fox News contributor as well. I hear about women's issues. I hear about black issues. We've heard certainly about black jobs recently, which we talk about all of these demographically divided issues. And then when Donald Trump mentions black jobs, the left pulls their hair out over it. Do you consider there to be issues that are specific to the black community or messages that need to be delivered by either candidate on either side of the aisle that speak specifically to the demographic of skin color, black people differently than maybe brown people or white people, so on and so forth?
I don't think there's anything that is exclusively a black issue. I think there's some where things will resonate more with black folks because of socioeconomic circumstances or just whatever lives most black people happen to live. I think number one is school choice. If you're living in a white suburb, the chances are your kids are getting a better education than kids that were living in black neighborhoods. I mean, that's just the way it is. And so I think the GOP has an excellent opportunity. In fact, I wish Trump would talk more about his record in school choice, which was very positive, and his intentions on school choice, which I think are also very promising, and contrast that with places like Baltimore, which is run by Democrats, where up until at least a couple of years ago, they're busy taking down statues in post George Floyd. There was a point where I believe it was, if I remember the correct numbers in front of me, I don't have them in front of me, but if I remember correctly, about 14, 15 junior highs and high schools in Baltimore, the city of Baltimore. Not one student was reading at grade level in math or reading at grade level or doing math at grade level. I don't mean 1%. I mean not one little boy, not one little girl, not one. I imagine the white suburbs nearby, you don't quite see the problem anywhere as bad as that. And that's one area where the GOP has something to offer, which is school choice and high academic standards. And the Democrats have no interest in, very little, if any, interest in school choice. And their interest seems to be, let's focus on DEI and critical race theory and all this other stuff, and not teaching black kids basic skills they need to graduate and go on to successful careers and happy lives as American citizens.
Deroy, we can criticize. I think it's very worthy of criticism. Barack Obama's message in the last couple weeks. We can criticize Joe Biden's ridiculous comment to Charlemagne the God. But I think that there's a more positive outlook in thinking about what does Donald Trump, as the next president of the United States, do for people who are white and also happen to be black or brown or whatever it is. What do we have to look forward to? Should black voters, along with others, decide that, you know what, I might not even tell anybody about it, but this time I'm voting for Donald Trump? What does that do for them?
Well, I think if Trump is elected, I think a lot of us are looking forward to a return to the sort of policies we enjoyed 4 years ago when he was president. I think everyone asks the question right now before you cast your ballot, are you better off now under Kamala Harris, or were you better off when Donald J. Trump was in the White House? I think most people would say, yeah, despite his personality and the occasional comments he makes that are kind of jaw-dropping, we were much happier with 1.4% inflation as opposed to 2.4, 2.5% inflation now, all the way down from 9.1% where it peaked under Kamala Harris. And we happier with an economy that's expanding, with, at the time Trump was president, the lowest black unemployment rate in history, the lowest black poverty rate in American history. For those people who are concerned about income inequality came down dramatically under Donald J. Trump, not because the rich were made poorer, but because the rich were made richer and the poor were made richer. The income inequality was shrinking in exactly the way you want it, which was poor people moving up rather than rich people moving down. And then you look at the border, which was under control under Donald J. Trump, completely out of control, with 10 million or so people having broken into this country under Kamala Harris's reign as borders arena. And then you look overseas, we had Middle East peace agreements, 4 different Middle East peace agreements under the Abraham Accords, versus rockets flying between Hamas attacking Israel, Hezbollah attacking Israel, Iran attacking Israel, ships on the Red Sea being shot at by the Houthis with all kinds of chaos. Ukraine and Russia were within their own borders under Donald J. Trump versus open warfare in Europe like we've not seen since World War II. So by those measures and many others, life was better under the Trump presidency than under having Kamala in the White House now. And if you want to go back to those happier days we had then, I would say you want to go to the polls, cast your ballot, and make sure it says Donald J. Trump when you fill in the bubble.
Yeah, 100%. Deroy Murdock with us right now. Last question before we let you go, Deroy, because I'm just kind of listening to what you're having to say right now, and I'm realizing that the consumption of what we're getting from the media, the messages that are getting out, the messaging towards Donald Trump, that he is somehow or another a racist. We really haven't seen that be pushed as much in this campaign as we have seen it be pushed in campaigns prior. Now, there are people who just believe it because the messaging was so, there was such an onslaught of it in prior races. But are people moving past the idea that Donald Trump is somehow or another the boogeyman racist that he had been made out to be? Has he been able to crack that facade that has been created for him?
I think to a degree. I mean, you're still going to hear that sort of thing, and the more desperate the Democrats get, the more you're going to hear it. But when you had President Trump campaigning in the Bronx, you may recall during his trial here in New York City, he took it after the trial ended, he went up to Harlem and met with a bodega owner up there, and he's been making an effort to appear before black audiences, the Black Journalists Association, et cetera. If he's such a big racist, why is he spending so much time talking to black folks? And, I think a lot of black people remember that life was much better when he was there in terms of lower crime, lower joblessness, higher economic growth, and that kind of thing. So I think that people are able to remember what life was like when he was there previously. Remember, he was president. People like to pretend he wasn't president, and all these comments about, oh, he's a racist and he's worse than Hitler, blah, blah, blah. Well, he had 4 years to demonstrate any of that sort of thing, and we didn't see it. Even going so far, in his very first month in office, I think it was about 3 weeks into his presidency, he invited the presidents of the historically black colleges and universities. There's a wonderful picture of him in the Oval Office, so with about 36 black college presidents, huddled with him, and he said, among other things, I'd like to have an office that's in the Department of Education, move into the into the West Wing, into the White House, so he could keep an eye and make sure that HBCUs were taken care of. He provided a steady stream of income for them so they wouldn't have to come and beg for money every year like they did under Obama. And one small thing they asked for, apparently students who are in historically black colleges and universities like to go to summer school. And Pell Grants and National Direct Student Loans, a lot of this financial aid was only available for the fall semester and the spring semester. There's nothing for summer school. And the HBCU president said, look, we asked Obama for 8 years, would you please make this financial aid available for summer school? And he completely ignored him. And Trump said, if that's what you'd like, we'll make it happen. Boom. All of a sudden, black kids at historically black colleges and universities could use their financial aid for summer school. 8 years, these people begged Obama. He didn't do a thing for them. They asked Trump once. They got it done. He got it done. So, again, that's a very positive thing. And this goes to show that, the black folks are relying on the Democrats for help. They take us for granted. They assume we're going to vote for them. Obama's attitude is that they own us. And so, we get very low satisfaction or love from these folks. And I think we're getting a lot more from Donald J. Trump, and I think we'll get even more than we have received if he's reelected, especially if it's with a considerable black vote as part of his winning majority.
Well, I'd encourage our listeners to check out your piece in The Spectator, and we thank you for being with us again, Deroy. Always something interesting to talk to you about. So we're glad you're here with us today.
Okay, Annie, thanks very much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye. Deroy Murdock, our friend and nationally syndicated columnist. He's always got pieces going out in all these different publications, Fox News contributor as well, and our regular 105 guest on Wednesdays. When we come back, Jim Carafano, usually a Tuesday guest, but he was on a plane yesterday. We're going to try to connect to him. We're going to talk about this, what was it, a terrorist plot that was foiled that was supposed to take place on Election Day? How did this guy get into the country? What did he plan to do? Could it be that there are other people who are in our country who were not properly vetted that are looking to exact great danger and violence on the American people? Jim Carafano knows some things about this, and he'll speak to us next. Don't go away.
We're going up around the bend. Bring us on.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Retirement Advisory Group, Thomas Helbig, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, they're waiting for you to give them a call so that you can schedule a free sit-down, no-obligation retirement review centered exactly around you. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494 is the number to call, and you'll sit down and have this conversation with them where you can learn about how they can add you to their list of clientele who've never lost a penny of their nest egg. If you come in for that free retirement review, you're also going to receive a free copy of their latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Worry-Free Retirement. That's what it's all about, isn't it? You've worked really hard to get to this point. And Thomas Helbig and Bob and Tammy Kershaw are the people you need to coach you in this very important transitional period of working into retirement. If you're in your late 50s, if you're 60, early 60s, if you've just nearly retired, if you're in your mid-60s and you've pushed it off this far and you want to make the move, you need the people on your side that know exactly how to handle this very specific time of your life. 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Have you set your appointment up yet to have your furnace checked to make sure you are good and ready to go for this winter? It's really, really a great idea to have it done for your own peace of mind and for your safety also. Definitely check your furnace before you use it. You can go to my website. It's bartinman.com, and we'll have pictures up of what we've seen and what we've seen and found that the homeowners had no clue that this danger existed. Most have no idea what I'm talking about now, but if you went to the website, if you're not going to have me come out or another company come out and check, then you'll know what to look for on your furnace and hot water heater also. So my number, again, it's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Wednesday afternoon, he's become the GOP savior on CNN. My friend Scott Jennings at 3:25, and we'll air the Kamala Brett Baier interview live at 5 o'clock.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
New details are now emerging about mysterious drone activity over U.S. military airspace. Air Force officials confirmed several unmanned drones flew over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia last December. It's been brought up at a number of congressional hearings and even reached President Biden. The Pentagon is still not saying what officials think these things really are.
Well, that's confusing. Chinese spy balloons, drones flying over military bases last December. Is this standard operating procedure and we just don't know about a lot of these things? Let's ask our friend Jim Carafano, who joins us once again, Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Buonasera, signora Frey. ¿Cómo está?
Oh, bien. Very good. That's about.
I'm in Rome, so I'm working on my Italian.
I don't know Italian, but it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, because you were speaking Spanish, but that's okay.
Yes, yeah.
No. Actually, this is standard operating procedure. The Chinese have an unbelievable global espionage network, and all these things that you've heard about in the past, like, hey, using Chinese students coming over here, and maybe some of them could be spies. True. Professors recruiting American professors as spies, buying land and using that land to spy in the United States. Yeah, and it's been increasingly brazen, not just in the United States, but in other countries. And it's like, what do these guys have to do? I mean, do they have to Do they have to walk up to the White House lawn and put a Chinese flag in the middle of the lawn before you get it? That this is a very, very serious effort to spy on the United States on par with what the Soviets did during the Cold War. And the difference is if you remember the Cold War, we had J. Edgar Hoover, and we're running around and we're looking for spies under every bedsheet. And now, essentially, we have a global spy network, which apparently we're all just indifferent to.
I didn't want that answer. So, I mean, is this a situation where we have an incompetent administration causing this to be worse? It's always been the case, so it's inflamed now because we're not paying attention to it?
Well, it's not that the U.S. intelligence doesn't know that it's out there. I could, and now I'm just speculating because obviously I'm not in the U.S. government. I don't have an intelligence clearance, so I don't know what's going on inside Langley and outside FBI headquarters. But there are things that are pretty obvious to all of us. Regardless of what business you're in, you only have so many people and so much time and so many things to do. So one is this administration for 4 years has had a lot of priorities which have nothing to do with actually intelligence or enforcing the law. It's, we can find resources to go and check out board meetings and school meetings to find out if parents are saying mean things. And we can peruse people's social media to see if they've, said mean tweets about President Biden or something. But that is taking away resources from the day job. And the other thing is unless this administration's been guilty of this many times, the Chinese do things which are completely in your face. And rather than be blunt and push back about it, we tend to excuse it or ignore it. And the Chinese balloon's a good example. The U.S. government knew that the Chinese were launching spy balloons. They knew that there was a spy balloon flying over the United States. They tried to ignore it and hide it. And it was only after an outrage happened that they responded. And then their response was incredibly stupid. We actually not only, dealt with shot down. We actually sent U.S. Air Force planes up and we shot down weather balloons, right? Just to prove, I guess that was their way of showing we're actually taking this threat seriously. So you have a government which doesn't really want to deal with the China threat, and you have a government which wants to essentially use law enforcement and intelligence agencies for their own purposes. So one of the byproducts of that is, are we not laser focused on the greatest intelligence threat against the United States? And the answer is, maybe that explains it.
Jim Carafano with us right now with the Heritage Foundation. I'm going to ask you a two-part question here. I don't know if they're connected. The FBI says, this is according to Fox News, the FBI says that ISIS-K was behind a recently foiled terrorist plot aimed at carrying out a mass shooting on Election Day in the United States on Wednesday. The FBI arrested the individual, 27 years old, in Oklahoma last week on charges of planning to purchase 2 AK-47 rifles to carry out the attack. When we're talking about intelligence gathering by countries like China, but we're also at the same time living in a world where ISIS-K is plotting Election Day mass shootings with people who have found their way into the United States. Are these separate issues? Do these all come together? It seems as though we're in a very insecure moment in time in our own country.
Well, what's interesting about all three of those things is in one way or another, they were connected to not keeping track of who's coming in this country. All three of these, because there are probably three major would-be terrorist attacks, which would have killed a lot of people if they had worked in the last year and a half, as I can think of. In each case, they were foiled because they were just stupid terrorists that were easy to catch. Why isn't there more outrage? And, I've said this on your show so many times, right, that we are less safe now than we were on the day after 9/11 because we've dismantled everything we built since 9/11 to make sure this never happens again. And the only reason we're not outraged is it's American. It's psychology. It's not just American. It's just how we all think. It's like when you almost hit a car, you just, I'm glad I didn't hit that car. And then you just drive on and forget about it. When you have the car accident, that memory sticks with you forever. So if it's a foiled terrorist attack, people just shrug their shoulders. And it's only when people really die that they go, oh, my God, how could this happen? So now we've had 3 would-be terrorist attacks which would have killed a lot of people and been catastrophic but we shrug our shoulders because it didn't actually happen. We had a terrorist attack on the World Trade Center, not in 9/11, but years earlier, but it just blew up in the garage and really didn't do anything. And so we all just shrugged our shoulders. And we're not going to take this seriously until people die in mass numbers here, until we have our October 7th. But we could have had that 3 times already. And so to your point is, why are we not reversing course? Why do we still have open borders? Why do we not have intelligence and law enforcement focused exclusively on intelligence and law enforcement plans? Why are we waiting? Yeah. Why do we have somebody running for president who says it's time for change when they're actually in the White House? They have an office in the White House, and they could be changing things today. And so, yeah, there's not a good answer to this question. Is we are sitting ducks, and we're doing nothing about it.
When you say why, do you think you know the answer to that question?
It defies human logic, right? If the tornado alarm goes off, you run for the cellar. If they say there's a hurricane coming, you pack your bags and you leave town. But we tell you the lights are blinking red. We have opened this country to so many threats, whether it's Chinese intelligence collection or the Chinese cyber attacks or infiltrating infrastructure or having open borders and letting terrorists come in the country, and we do nothing. I honestly don't have good answers for that, other than it's human nature, right? Nobody wants to buy insurance until the day after they've had an accident, and they go, "Gee, I wish I had insurance," or "I wish I got the warranty on the refrigerator." That's kind of the way we are. But to be fair to the American people, that's why we elect government. We elect governments to make sure that we don't have to that we can go to sleep at night and not worry about really terrible, horrible things happening, because we elect our government to take care of that. And we give them a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I can show you tens of billions of dollars that went to pay for diversity and equity training and, giving money to Hamas so they could dig tunnels in Gaza. But I can't tell you that the government's actually doing the one thing you pay them to do, which is allow you to go to sleep at night and be confident that you can wake up in the morning and hug your children.
That's it. That's what it's about. Jim Carafano with us right now with the Heritage Foundation. When I look at, you listed out those questions, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And you're right, it defies common sense and logic. When I come up to that brick wall and I can't get any further trying to, game it out in my head, like, why would you be doing this? What is the outcome? I generally assume that the thing that I have identified as a problem, the other side doesn't see as a problem, because I'm looking for a solution to a problem that I have. If they're not looking for the solution, then maybe they don't identify it as a problem. Do you think that this administration has regret? Or do you think the Democrat Party has regret for opening the southern border to such an extent that people are coming here who wish us ill? And, we're so far down this road, we'll have to retread a new one in order to fix the problem that they've created?
No, and so the generous answer to say is like, I'm a politician. And the crashest politician, the worst politician would say, look, if they don't vote me out of office, obviously I'm doing okay, right? Because that's the only thing I really care about. I'm not even sure these guys care about that. If they get voted out of office, do you think they're going to go back and say, boy, that open border thing was a dumb idea? Or, opening the country to a next 9/11 is a dumb idea. They're going to say, how do I get back in power? And this, to me, is the fundamental difference between not just Republicans and Democrats, but politically that divides us. Well, it's divided. There are two kinds of politicians in this world I discovered from all my travels and places I've been and all the different people I've talked to. It's almost like the laws of physics and gravity. There are people who run for office, and their question is what can I do to satisfy people's needs and wants that will keep me in office? And there are people who say, what can I do to make sure I control power? Those are the two different politicians we have in the world today. And if you can't figure out which is which and, which is better for you, then, my friend, you are part of Darwin's, survival of the fittest thing.
Jim Carafano, one last note before we let you go on this individual who the FBI arrested that was going to engage in this Election Day terrorist plot. Fox News reports that Tawhidi, which is his name, had previously worked as a security guard for the CIA in Afghanistan. And Fox News reported that he did not undergo vetting by the State Department for special immigration status. They tracked Tawhidi donating to an ISIS-connected charity and viewing ISIS propaganda online. And a family member of the man who was arrested was also arrested in France this week for planning a separate attack. How does somebody work for the CIA in Afghanistan and get into this country without extra vetting? I mean, if they were on our radar, man, that's a phrase we continue to hear.
Well, all I can say is this is somebody who kind of, I don't want to say grew up with the Department of Homeland Security post 9/11 because I'm a lot older, but, was involved in kind of the whole debate and structure of Homeland Security, including the debate over the Patriot Act. And then I was advisor to 3 different secretaries in Homeland Security as part of the Homeland Security Advisory Council, including Democrats and Republicans. So, I've only been involved with this issue for 20-plus years. The scenario you just described, everything we did post 9/11 was to set up a system so people like that never got in the United States. And so the honest question to ask is, well, how did somebody like that get in the United States? When we built the system to stop exactly the kind of people exactly the kind of red flags you just raised. I remember, during the Bush administration, I was trying to help a guy get a visa who was from Europe, and he couldn't get a visa to the United States. And so, we did all these queries, and we went to the Congress and said, well, why can't get a guy visit? Well, he visited a country where there's terrorists. And we were like, yeah, he was in a NATO ally that was fighting the ISIS in Iraq. Of course he was there. They denied a guy from NATO a visa because he was in Iraq. And now we're literally letting the guys they were fighting in the country without even batting an eyelash. I mean, honestly, if you'd asked me 20 years ago if I would ever be living, because we worried about, we're going to turn, America's going to become a fascist state, and we're not going to. Instead, we've done the opposite. Rather than using a system to defend people, we're using the system to attack people and ignore the people that are trying to kill us. I couldn't have predicted this. If you said, Jim, tell me the most wacky thing that could possibly happen here.
Jim, can I ask you one bonus question? Just 1 minute. I haven't talked to you since Tim Walz and the China stuff came out. Just a big, broad question. Does the Tim Walz China trips concern you?
It sends huge red flags to me. Again, I'm in Rome. I've been all over the world, and one of the biggest things I hear about is what's called elite capture. The Chinese are everywhere, giving money to anybody that they can use to buy influence. And look, I don't know if Tim Walz, what his issues are or whatever. I just would say all the things that Tim Walz did with the Chinese are exactly the kinds of behaviors we see for the Chinese trying to buy elite capture and influence. Now, I didn't say he did anything wrong. I don't know if he did anything wrong. I'm just saying the people that the Chinese have in their pocket, the things he did, those are exactly the kind of things they did to get their pocket. But it's like when you ask the question of how come we let all these Chinese students in our country and we ignore espionage? How do we let people fly drones over military bases? Why do we let the Chinese Communist Party and the military wind up being owners for vast tracts of land outside of U.S. military bases? I don't know if they're doing anything wrong, but every place I go where I see where the Chinese do something wrong, it kind of looks like what you just described.
Red flags. In full disclosure, I Googled, it was a pleasure speaking with you, so I could say it to you in Italian, but I'm not even going to take a stab at it. But I'm going to tweet it at you.
Well, okay. Well, ciao, Annie.
Ciao. I got that one. Thank you. We appreciate you, Jim. Bonus there. They're very, very, very good. I can read Spanish. I have a thought. I have an idea, but I out of respect to Jim Carafano, who is in Rome, I will copy and paste the Italian onto X and send it on its way to our dear friend Jim Carafano. Always wonderful to have him on the show. Red flags on the Tim Walz thing. I wish I would have asked that question a little bit earlier, but it came up to me and I had to know. Let's take a quick break. Ryan Wiggins back in studio. When we come back, our YouTube live chat poll, a little spillover from yesterday's conversation. We talked quite a bit about this yesterday. YouTube live chat poll, is Donald Trump a Christian? Yes, no, or it doesn't matter. I peeked at the results. Folks, they're close. Weigh in. Let us know what you think on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Air Comfort Service, you find them easily online right now at aircomfortservice.com. As the summer heat is out, you're going to be trying to manufacture your own heat in your home because the cool weather is here. I saw suggestions of frost warnings coming around. Yay, for fall. It's mid-October. It's time. There's nothing wrong with that. But you want to make sure that your heating system is functioning properly. And if it isn't, you need Air Comfort Service. You need people who can come into your home, respect you, respect your hard-earned dollar, and get your system back in good working shape so that your comfort zone is immediately apparent the second you walk in the door, toss your keys on the counter there, and feel the comfort of being in your own house. Air Comfort Service is available at 314-513-0091. And if you get one of their maintenance plans, you can get regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks twice a year, discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs, and priority service. For just $19 a month, when you pay monthly, your 12th month is free. This is a great service that you can use that keeps you in your comfort zone year-round. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. As a business owner, it's your job to anticipate constant market changes. But what do you do in the event of a divorce? Years of hard work building a business are on the line. This is not business as usual. You need an experienced partner you can count on for help. We're Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-373-0322. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-373-0322. 800-373-0322. Once again, that's 800-373-0322.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you're looking for all the comforts of home plus some in a senior living community, check out Hampton Manor of Wentzville, just off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. They'll even treat you to lunch. Set up your appointment today and tell them Mark Cox sent you. WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
You know, sometimes we get on the radio and we ask provocative questions. Is Donald Trump a Christian? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. And of course, lots of people have a lot of opinions on this subject. You're invited to be one of them if you'd like to join our YouTube live chat. You type in Annie Frey on YouTube and it comes up. And that is how you find the YouTube live chat poll as well.
What's the matter with you? Are you struggling?
I was trying to not clear my throat, but I almost got through it. And I did. Look, I didn't have to do it. You pointed it out. 150.
I don't know that I needed to point it out.
Yeah, you can tell I was struggling. 150. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join with 97.1 listeners and many others at St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. It's a community of support. Register today at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
She sat right down on the sofa. I said, where have you been? I've been waiting for you. 'Cause last night I had something so good. These days get so long and I got nothing to do. I've been hanging
Welcome back. So I'm going to put this up on our live stream right now. Do you know how close we are right now to 10,000 subscribers, Mr. Ryan Wiggins?
I know the answer is close, but I don't know the number.
I think, was it you, Brad, that made one of your Christmas tree ornaments?
Yeah. Yeah, it's 10,000 subscribers for the Annie Frey Show. That was like a Christmas tree ornament / New Year's resolution, a goal of mine.
Yeah.
To
in
benefit.
2024.
Yeah.
And we're, that's Jim Carafano. Jim Carafano hanging out in the bottom of our.
He can just be a part of everything if you want.
9,917. We only need 83 people.
That's gone up since I looked at it this morning.
Yeah, I know. 83 people. And so we've been talking about what should we commit to y'all if we get to 10,000 subscribers. And so here's the deal. We've talked with Johnny Brox, and Halloween is around the corner. And if we get to 10,000 subscribers on the Annie Frey YouTube channel before Halloween, we will dress up for at least the 2 p.m. hour on Halloween. We gotta figure out. I don't want to commit. It's an October surprise waiting around the corner, and I don't want to be in a chicken costume when it's going down.
Israel strikes nuclear facilities in Iran.
I'm a little worried about that. I don't want to manifest it. But, however, what we've decided here is that if we get to 10,000 subscribers before Halloween, we will dress up for at minimum the 2 p.m. hour of the show. And we will wear costumes that the other 2 people on the show pick out for us.
Yeah, I'm not going to go real easy on you.
Yeah, me? No?
I might on Brad, just so I can kind of keep him on my team when you guys are picking.
You and I, well, that's their strategy there.
Yeah.
I think the first thing, that's a good question. In what, we've just added 2 subscribers. Okay, there they go. In what order should they be picked? Because I think that I should go with Brad to pick yours, and I should go with you to pick Brad's, and you guys should pick mine last.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't really care about the order. But when do we reveal what we've picked for each other? On Halloween, or we know ahead of time?
Probably on the show. I'll have a video.
Yeah.
I'll make a video of it. So maybe we'll make the video of it and release the video that day.
Okay.
We have added 7 subscribers in the last 45 seconds.
Listen, I'm just going to veto one thing. Sexy clown. I'm not doing sexy clown.
What if it's just regular clown?
I'll do regular clown. But if I got to show some cleave or something, or some leg,
cleaver.
I'm not doing
sexy
clown
with cleaver.
Look, if I'm a sexy clown, I'm not coming at you with a butcher's knife.
I just thought you missed an opportunity to say whatever you do is sexy, whatever it is.
No.
Sexy popcorn bucket.
I guess that's probably true. That whatever I'm going to do, people are going to look at me like I'm meat. But I don't want to encourage that, is what I'm saying.
There are just a few things that have to be kept in mind when we shop for costumes, which is we still have to be able to communicate professionally on the air. So we won't be able to cover our face in a complete mask because we wouldn't be able to talk.
Right.
We still have to be able to have headphones on in some capacity. Doesn't mean we don't get creative with it, but yeah.
Yeah, and probably be able to see somewhat clearly.
Somewhat.
Like enough to see the screens.
What did you guys made me a giraffe one year?
A giraffe. I like stuff that's just exceedingly stupid.
Like inanimate objects?
Yeah, just the dumbest thing we could possibly find. In fact, if we don't find one, I might have one at home that might be yours.
Brad has to agree on it.
Yeah. I have to agree on it.
I'm going to trust Brad to look out for me. And Brad's going to trust me to look out for him.
Yeah, there's
Brad and I
no
are
way you guys are.
you.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if we're kind to one another.
The words, we went easy on you, Wiggins, are not going to happen on this show ever.
Well, we're down to needing 75 YouTube subscribers. So if you want to go vote in today's YouTube live chat poll, is Donald Trump a Christian? Go vote. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And we'll do something fun for Halloween. We'll be right back.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are 2 things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
RulerFoods.com. If you're shopping to save on your groceries, who isn't? Who's out there like, I don't need to worry about what I spend on groceries? Certainly isn't my family. Feeding a family of 6 or even feeding a family of 2. You want to make sure that your grocery dollar goes as far as possible. That's why the smart folks shop at Ruler Foods. It's fun. It's clean. It's an easy place to shop. They have the name brands that you love, but they also carry Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Right now, they have a low price on Campbell's soup and cream of soups, 10 for $10. Chef Boyardee pasta or Armour lunch makers, 10 for $10. Hunt's pasta sauce. You can stock up on this for those winter days, those cold fall days where you want to have something nice and warm and comforting. 10 for $10 on the pasta sauce. Also, if you love tuna, Starkist Chunk Light Tuna in water or tuna pouches, 10 for $10. Save on your grocery bill at Ruler Foods. You can also schedule a delivery and find your location at rulerfoods.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Fighting to earn every vote. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's what Vice President Kamala Harris says she's doing, holding a Pennsylvania event with Republican supporters ahead of her first Fox News interview, which comes after a Fox town hall for former President Trump.
So many people work to come in our country. They've worked for 10 years. They're getting ready. And then millions of people pour through the southern border.
Taking questions from an all-women audience on immigration, childcare costs, and high prices in general, repeating a pledge to boost U.S. energy production, arguing lowering those prices will reduce costs for everything. The U.S. will give thousands more armored vehicles to Ukraine, part of a new military aid package totaling $425 million. President Biden speaking with Ukraine's President Zelensky, who earlier unveiled a plan for victory against Russia, to the Ukrainian parliament.
One crucial detail in the blueprint, that Ukraine is invited to join NATO before the war ends. President Zelensky says it'll show the Russian people that Putin's plan has failed. NATO says, yes, Ukraine will join someday, just not while it's at war. The Ukrainian leader believes his victory plan could end the conflict no later than next year.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A nationwide recall, first announced a week ago, has grown to 12 million pounds of processed food.
The recall is for meat and poultry products produced at the Bruce Pack processing plant in Durant, Oklahoma. It may be contaminated with listeria. The updated recall now includes ready-to-eat meals sent to schools and restaurants and major retailers, including Walmart, Target, Costco, Trader Joe's, and Kroger.
Fox's Jack Callahan. Traces of the bacteria were found in samples of chicken from the plant, but so far no confirmed illnesses related to it. Those recalled foods have the numbers 51205 inside or under the USDA inspection mark. America's listening to Fox News.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed to keep out of reach of children.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish. I'm just kind of blah. Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites. But I suppose they taste blah. Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go. Toss one in my bag? Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
What a pretty October sky across the St. Louis area, but it is chilly as we go through our afternoon. 59 for the high. Tonight, clear skies is into the 40s for evening plans. 38 for the low. Thursday, sunny skies, cold start, but a beautiful afternoon on Thursday with 67 degrees. Friday, sunny and 71. Mid-70s and sunshine for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are there to hook you up with the rates as they have come down a little bit on your mortgage. You can refinance right now with the Bagel Loan, and Bagel Loans come with $0 in closing costs. That means you can secure that lower rate. You can, maybe lower your monthly payment. You can potentially shave years off the term of your loan. With that lower rate would come a lower payment. Maybe keep your payment exactly where it is right now, but you shave off a few years from the length of the loan. Whatever your situation is, whatever you're looking to do, you talk to Stewie about it, and he puts you in the best financial situation to make sure that you're not overpaying on that mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home, he can help you with a bagel loan there as well. $0 in closing costs means this is a no-brainer. I have refinanced twice with the bagel loan, and I have a nice little rate right now. I'm very glad that I was able to secure that, and I did it with Stewie, so you can as well. Call him or text him at 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226715.
Fall is a great time to upgrade your backyard, your patio, or your deck with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here for my friends at Chesterfield Fence. Right now, you can get 20% off your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck by just mentioning my name. They would love to come out and talk to you about upgrading that patio, maybe getting a nice chimney built back there to sit outside this fall and enjoy it. Maybe you need a new deck or a sunroom or an all-season room. These are all things that Chesterfield Fence and Deck can do, and they've been doing it since 1968. Locally owned and operated for all those years. If you've got their sign in your yard, it is the sign you have the very best, and it's a great time to take advantage of that. They'll come out, they'll talk to you about the financing, they'll talk to you about the free project design they can do for you, and show you an extensive digital photo gallery of completed projects. Call them at 636-532-4054 or go online to chesterfieldfence.com.
Sick of those annoying ads slowing you down online? Introducing i3 Broadband's 100% fiber optic network with advanced whole home Wi-Fi. With speeds up to 8 gigabits, buffering is so yesterday. Our rock-solid connection keeps you streaming, gaming, and browsing without a hitch, thanks to our ad blocking feature. No contracts, no hidden fees, just pure internet bliss. And we've got a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Dial 877-976-0711 or swing by i3broadband.com/STL. We're local, reliable, and committed to St. Louis.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. A full show leading up to this point. We spoke with Bruce LeVell. Wonderful to speak with him at 12:25. Deroy Murdock at 1:05. Jim Carafano at 1:25. And now we got the whole crew back in here. So Ryan and Brad and myself for the 2 o'clock hour. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is Donald Trump a Christian? You have 3 opportunities to respond to this. Yes, no, or it doesn't matter. And if you come to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you'll see we're broadcasting live there, just like we are 97.1 FM Talk, and streaming live on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. All the time. You can take us with you with perfectly crystal clear signal everywhere you go in the world. That's pretty cool. But we're broadcasting live. You can watch us too on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And in the live chat portion, vote and tell us what you think. Let's see here. Jack says Trump went. Oh, wait. This is something I have to get used to here. Let's see. Pond says it doesn't matter if he identifies as a Christian. I guess it depends on your definition of a Christian. Does he treat people decently and with respect? Yes. Is he a sinner? Yes. Aren't we all? The more I thought about our conversation yesterday, the more I really keyed in on Charlie Kirk's comment about the idea of being able to vote for Donald Trump, if you're a Christian and you're analyzing whether or not you will be able to muster the vote for Donald Trump, you're really putting yourself in a position to compare the kind of Christian that Donald Trump is to the kind of Christian that you might be. I wonder, do we apply that type of standard to our doctors when their doctors are providing us care? If you are in a situation where you're sending your children or grandchildren to public school, do you apply that same type of standard to the grown people who are educating your kids about how Christian they are and whether or not you're willing to support them? Because I can think of people who are educators who are not Christian people, but they're very good people in the worldly sense. We can step out of the worldly sense and have a theological conversation about religion and salvation and all that. A very important conversation to have. But if you're somebody who cannot vote for Donald Trump because he's not the right kind of Christian for you, are you taking your children or grandchildren out of a classroom if you know that that individual is not the type of Christian that you want them to be? In that instance, you have a much more personal relationship between an individual who you're putting your child in the charge of. Do we have that same kind of rubric for how we choose to allow people to influence what happens in our lives? And I look at Donald Trump, and I think the reason why I ask this question, is Donald Trump a Christian, yes, no, or it doesn't matter, is because I believe that in this instance of choosing an elected official to run government, which is talked about, government is talked about in the Bible quite a bit. Earthly leadership is something that is discussed in Scripture with regularity, and challenges of it and influence of it. I'm thinking about I think the abortion issue is where the Christian conflict happens the most. People don't like the way Donald Trump is speaking about abortion because he's not saying he's for it or against it. He says two things every time. Everybody wanted it to go back to the states, which inherently isn't completely accurate of a statement. The concern with abortion is not who controls the law on it. The concern with abortion is it baby murder or is it strictly the woman's right to control what happens to her body? That's the dilemma that needs to be decided on the abortion issue. You have to determine what it is before you can determine what to do with what it is. So the first thing he says is that it goes back to the states, and that's what everybody wanted. I don't think that that's a right statement. I think it's probably a smart political statement, but I don't believe that in my very pro-life stance. I don't think that that's accurate, and I also don't think it's been good for saving the lives of babies. And the second thing he says is that he always says, like Ronald Reagan, believes in the exceptions. These are the options that are in front of us. The options that are in front of us are Kamala Harris, who won't push back on what was determined in Minnesota by choosing Tim Walz and them not reacting to the changes they've made to abortion access in Minnesota. There are babies that have been born alive in one of the most grotesque terms I can think of, which is failed abortions. There have been babies that have born alive that have not received medical care that they needed outside of the womb. Kamala Harris isn't outspoken on having a problem with that. You want to talk about being extreme. The Democrat Party is extreme on abortion in ways that I haven't even come up with being in the realm of possibility yet. Donald Trump says that he believes in the exceptions. When he says that he believes in the exceptions, he's talking about life of the mother. I've never known a single instance where a baby had to die in order to save the life of the mother, to piece apart a fetus from a womb, to take them out, to suck their brains out, to pull apart their body from the womb, that is a necessity to save the life of a mother. Induced labor, induced C-section where you have to remove the baby, there's a situation there where that might happen and the baby's life doesn't live. life of the mother, rape and incest, those are the exceptions that Donald Trump subscribes to, and he always attributes Ronald Reagan to those exceptions. Donald Trump has not made a statement on abortion. Donald Trump has not said abortion is wrong. Donald Trump is making a political calculation in how he speaks on this issue so that he can become the president of the United States. I believe that there are people who represent us in government, who represent the people who have sent them to serve in that capacity, where they may have especially religious beliefs, but moral beliefs that aren't 100% in line with what they believe that they can effectively accomplish when they reach the office that they are elected to. I really question any individual out there right now who believes that Donald Trump hasn't gone far enough on the abortion issue in what he says in a campaign. Look back at what this man has done on the issue. There is only so much that he can do in government. And if you look at what's going to happen in Missouri, I'm telling you right now, I think this amendment is going to pass. I'm going to fall on my hands and knees and thank God if it doesn't. But this is the way these things are tracking. Our culture is so rotten, is so depraved. We don't value things like life culturally. You cannot win a political battle on a rotting culture. And if you're sitting here in your righteousness and in your pride over not being able to muster a vote for Donald Trump for president because of this particular issue, I really find that in my mind to be, as Brad said yesterday, a sin of pride. You've calculated that you are too good as an individual to look at what is in front of you and say, this is what has to be done for the most good to come about. If you're actually sitting there thinking to yourself right now that you, as a Christian individual, are too good of a Christian or too strong of a Christian to do what it takes to stop Kamala Harris from becoming the president of the United States, then pride is your problem. Should you sit righteously in your own home and think about how good you feel that you didn't contribute to Donald Trump becoming president, you absolutely have contributed to Kamala Harris becoming president. There's no way around that. You have these decisions, and I've talked about this before. I think I've talked about this with you guys on the show. I am flooded with the thoughts of King Solomon in the Bible, who was presented with a baby by two women. Now, King Solomon, you might know the Bible, you might be familiar with the Bible, but you might culturally understand that King Solomon was known for his wisdom. King Solomon is approached by two women, both claiming to be the mother of a baby. And every time I hear about this issue, this abortion issue, and what government is supposed to do, do you know what King Solomon said? In order to save the baby's life, do you know what King Solomon told those women to do? He told them to cut the baby in half. The order from the person who was in charge of the land said, cut the baby in half. And what did the woman who was the real mother do? Say, absolutely not, give that baby to that other woman. Spare that baby's life. The woman who wasn't the mother said, fine, that's the only way to make it fair. When you sit this election out and you choose not to vote for Donald Trump because of some moral high ground that you think you have over Donald Trump, when, as a Christian, you should fully understand the line that divides us from the perfect goes above all of our heads. We are all on the same side of that line. When you choose to sit that out, in my opinion, you're the mother saying, fine, cut the baby in half. Because that's literally what's going to happen if Kamala Harris becomes the president of the United States. The amount of babies that will die on Kamala Harris's watch is magnificently more in the Democrats' eyes than should Donald Trump become the president of the United States. Do you sacrifice with yourself and say, give the baby to them? Let the baby live. Do you give of yourself if you love that child? Because that is what the options that are in front of you, that is what is presented with us. It was wise then, it's wise now. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect solution. And in Solomon's good wisdom that he had in that moment, the baby's life was saved, and King Solomon knew who the real mother was. We have no time for selfish righteousness. And this issue, wouldn't you say that the whole, like, Donald Trump, is he a Christian? How can he be a Christian and not be more forceful on the pro-life issue? I mean, he has shown us that he has advocated for pro-life causes. He's done that before. It's on his resume. I don't think that he's going to govern as the president in the next 4 years as pro-life as I would want him to be, but I sure as heck know how Kamala Harris is going to do it. If you sit this one out because your moral high ground can't reach the circle to fill in for Donald Trump's vote, you're just telling him to cut the baby in half.
I totally understand criticisms of Trump and really the Republican side of the aisle right now not being as on offense with pro-life issues and playing only defense. I understand that. I actually really, really understand when people who are pro-life say we need to be more bold in being pro-life and making the pro-life case. Now, we're on a radio show. I think, Annie, you make a very, very good case for the pro-life side. But a lot of politicians, I think people are criticizing politicians for not publicly making the pro-life case enough. However, what you're saying is, remember, we have a binary choice here. Yes, you could vote for Jill Stein. Yes, you could vote for all these. We have a two-party system. Which one do you think is going to be better for the pro-life movement? That is cut and dry to me. I don't think there really can be an argument against which side's going to be better for the pro-life movement.
Annie, listening to what you're saying, you nailed it. It's cultural rot. Abortion isn't a legal issue. It's not. It's a cultural issue. It's a heart issue. The thought that, like, I believe that that's a person from the moment of conception. And the thought that a mother...
It's a soul.
That a mom, would say, you know what? For X, Y, and Z reasons, I want to eliminate that soul. I want to kill that person. Whatever your reasons are.
I'll add into that they're being led to believe that it isn't.
Right.
They're being lied to. 10 years later, they want a child, they get pregnant, they go into an ultrasound, and they see what they want, what they, in that moment in time and comfort of that time, choose to keep. They know what they chose not to keep.
Yeah, exactly. And so that to me tells me that the battle has to shift on this topic. It has to shift out of the legal realm, out of the political realm, into the cultural realm. We say it all the time, make abortion unthinkable. Change the hearts and minds of people, and it won't matter how legal Amendment 3 makes it. People won't do it. Change the hearts and minds of people, and they won't fight hard to have the right, quote unquote, to kill a child. They just won't do it. So if you're a pro-lifer out there and this is what you want to do, the end goal is the same. Ending abortions. You're not going to be able to do that through legal means, because if you do it right now at the temperature in this country, all you're going to have is bitter, vile, angry people and more division, and it's not going to save any lives. People will do it. But if you can change the hearts and minds of people, if you can change the temperature of the culture will move away from this desire, and it'll become a non-issue in the future.
Did you hear the Democrats lately when they're talking about immigrants, talking about how we don't have enough people? We're not having enough babies.
Oh, boy.
No, I have not heard that.
Man, that pisses me off. Let's take a quick break. We need to know what you think on this issue. Is Donald Trump a Christian? Yes, no, or it doesn't matter. Let me peek here. I'm looking. Oh, they're still very close. I think that we have 331 votes in here right now, and I think that the way the breakdown is right now, it's so divided among all three. that the lead could change by the end of the show. So get your vote in, get your comment in, and let us know what you think. Kurt says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I wouldn't prefer a Christian in office, but it's more about how policies line up with my Christian faith. God uses good men and evil men. And Erica says, since I'm not a Christian, the religion of my candidate doesn't matter. Trump is better for the country and the economy. What do you think? We'll be right back.
I just hope that you find your way soon.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance wants you to feel very comfortable when you are listing your home. It's a big decision. It's an emotional decision. You want to make sure that you get top dollar for everything that you expected out of it. You hear about home prices. You've probably looked at Zillow. You've got a thought, an idea. But you want to make sure that you do it right and you do it right the first time. Jen Teskey and the wonderful team at RE/MAX Alliance are going to guide you through this process. You are in the very best of hands when you work with them. You can call them directly. You can text them at 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010. Reach out to them. Start the conversation, whether you're thinking, probably going to want to list the house next spring, or if you need to move immediately and get that house sold fast. With 15 plus years of experience in helping families just like yours sell and buy homes in the Illinois side of the river, Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Maryville, Troy, Collinsville, those areas especially, reach out to Jen Teskey and the RE/MAX Alliance team to list your home today. 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010, online at jenteskeyhomes.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you need the best. Onder Law. Hurt on the job? Call Onder Law today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 5-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Replace your old furnace or HVAC system and save up to $2,100 with Carrier Cool Cash rebates. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
I can see why you think you belong to me. I never tried to make you think or let you see one thing for yourself.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. The YouTube live chat poll for today is Donald Trump a Christian? Yes, no, or it doesn't matter. I'm saying it doesn't matter. That's my vote. Ryan, your thoughts on this? You weren't here yesterday when we talked quite a lot about this.
Yeah, this is a tough question because I think it does matter. So I'm not a doesn't matter. Although I understand why people are voting that because they're saying, does the person's values line up closely with my own political values? I understand that. But this is a really tough question to ask what's in somebody's heart. And those who are saying no are, I think, probably pointing to a lot of things that are pretty old, stuff from his past and who doesn't have a past. I'm looking at the last couple months and just hearing him talk about life and, he's still doing it. Everything he does is in Trump's way. So he's never going to do anything. That's what's kind of nice about him. He's pretty genuine. You always know you're going to get Donald Trump, regardless of whatever version of Donald Trump you're going to get. It's always Trump. And I think that he's been talking much more about divine providence and just, after the shot that hit his ear, almost killed him, that he's been reflective in his way. I do believe he was a Christian before that. I believe that has changed it a little bit more where he's talking about it a little bit more. So I'm going to yes on this poll.
Christine says on our YouTube chat regarding the poll, Trump, yes, he is, because when he got shot in the ear, he said that was by the grace of God that I turned my head when I did. So I think a lot of people are, you're talking about Donald Trump's past and where he has been. Even more recent events make me think that he has worked very hard to keep it kind of not a huge part of the conversation, but when he is asked about it, he talks about God every time the assassination thing comes up.
Yeah, he does. I like to hear that. When you become a Christian, while everything changes at once, a lot of times a lot of your same patterns don't change right away. And a lot of the patterns that you're in, it takes years to overcome certain things after you become a Christian by the grace of God. So I don't expect to see major road to Damascus kind of conversions aren't always the most common things. They do happen. But with him, I don't expect to see that. Just him talking about God is a change to me.
Speaking of, did you hear caller Paul yesterday?
No, I heard you talking about it.
It was not lost on me that it was Paul who called. He's a pastor, Southern Baptist pastor. Go check out the podcast and listen to that or rewatch it. It was a really, really interesting call. First hour of yesterday's show. Brad, what do you think? Is Donald Trump a Christian? Yes, no, or it doesn't matter?
Well, I said on the air yesterday that I don't think that he is. I'm open to the possibility that events in life in recent history have changed him on this, that he's come to a saving knowledge of Christ. But the reason I said yesterday is because I've listened to some of the things he's talked about, some of the stuff that he's said about his faith, and it's like one of the things that really sticks out to me is somebody asked him do you feel the need for forgiveness? And he's like, no, I've never felt the need to ask for forgiveness for anything. And that to me is kind of a big major red flag. Now, that was, 4 or 5 years ago? That's when he was running for president the first time.
No, it was a lot longer.
Oh, that's
8
years ago.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
CNN has this as a 2015 story.
2015.
Donald Trump talked about his Christian faith Saturday, but said he's never sought forgiveness for his sins. Trump, this is CNN, by the way. Trump, who also made headlines for questioning Senator McCain's heroism, made the comments about his faith during a question and answer at the Family Leadership Summit in Iowa.
So that was going on 10 years ago now. And I'm watching the story of Russell Brand, who 5 months ago wasn't a Christian, and now he is, or at least he's on that path. So
He's absolutely a Christian.
Yeah.
He's a baptized, practicing Catholic.
Yeah. So you look at how quickly something like that can change. Ryan, you talked about a road to Damascus experience or something like that. Man, almost getting killed can change somebody's life immediately. And I near-death experiences, and I can speak to that because I did have a near-death experience of my own. It changes your perspective on life. It opens up the things that matter, the things that don't. It changes all of that. I do see that change in him. I just don't know if he is a Christian, and my default setting is if I don't know, I'm going to assume that you're not, because it's important that I share the gospel with you and not assume that you're saved, rather than not share the gospel with you and assume that you are.
Is Joel Osteen a Christian?
Man, I have my doubts about him.
I don't know. I mean, I hope so. I mean, he's the leader of a big church and a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I pray that he is leading them well. I just don't hear him talk about Jesus that much. And when he does, he doesn't really sort of prepare you for the valley. He's just mountaintops. And it doesn't mean that there are no mountaintops. It just means that there are valleys. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. He's not somebody that I've listened to enough to really make a informed, wise decision, because I just don't get a lot out of his preaching. So I would be almost like doing it to research rather than to receive anything. And I just have never done that.
The point being that there are people who are professional Christians who we can sit here and say, I don't know. I mean, Joel Osteen might give you the most motivating speech you've ever heard in your life, or sermon, or whatever you want to call it, and it might be exactly what you needed to hear at that time for whatever particular thing you're going through. But that's different than, as a Christian, I'm saying this myself, and I do understand that people listening to this show right now are not all Christians, and I understand that. I respect that. I'm talking about where I'm coming from, but I do not understand, as somebody who I am saying that I'm a Christian, when I say that I'm a Christian, all I'm telling you is that I am broken beyond repair as a sinner. I am rags to the perfection that God expects of us. My sin is ugly. It is repulsive. And I am destined for eternal hell because of my sin. And the thing that makes me a Christian is that I know that God has covered all of that for me through Jesus. At any given time, maybe it's on the volleyball court while I'm as a coach at a Lutheran school, or volleyball or basketball or something, and I'm out there this is embarrassing to say, but it's absolutely the truth, not acting the way a good Christian should be. If that is your one encounter with me, is Annie a Christian? I mean, who out there right now can look at somebody else and determine what kind of Christian they are? It's not. I'm so focused on keeping my head down in reverence to the forgiveness that has been given to me, that the thought of assessing somebody else's relationship with God feels to me to be an inappropriate place to place judgment on them in a way that isn't a prayerful exercise in hoping that they come to Christ. And that I'm saying this in 100% the same way that I would approach Kamala Harris. There should be absolutely zero separation in that same want that I have for Donald Trump to be a good Christian as for Kamala Harris. If you're somebody, really, when you think about this reminds me of who was the comedian who got in trouble for being inappropriate in front of females? This is like
Louis C.K.?
You think was it Louis C.K.? Yeah,
that's who
I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's who I'm thinking of, and I think it was Louis C.K. who did a stand-up bit on abortion and said, it's one of two things. You're either murdering babies or it's a bodily function. This the same as defecation, and he uses a little more colorful language than that. And he's like, you can understand how people who don't look at it like it's a human life would go, why is this a big deal? People do, this is a bodily function that's not a big deal at all. Like, you can understand why people would be pretty casual about it. He goes, but also, if you look at the other side, there are people who truly believe that you are murdering children. He goes, and then you see them holding hands silently on the street, and you think, you should be a little more worked up about this. And he's exactly right. He doesn't, I mean, I think he makes a pretty strong, he advocates strongly for people who believe it to be life and how they react to the situation. I think that in the way that the Bible tells us to, if you are a Christian, that we are to look after our brother and sisters who are in the Christian faith. If Ryan, who I know to be saved and to be a Christian, if you all of a sudden start doing something that goes against your Christian faith, I, as your sister in Christ, have a responsibility to bring you back. If you aren't in the faith, God has a different expectation of us. I can't bring you back into something that you weren't in previously. And I just don't think that when we're sitting out elections, because we're measuring our Christian faith up to what we perceive to be somebody else's, there's no way to possibly know. I could think, like, do you know people in your life? I need first, last names, and addresses. Do you know people in your life who are really bold and out there about their Christian faith, but you know stuff about them? You know stuff. You know real people who are really forward with their Christian faith, and you know things about them that make you go, I guarantee you there are people listening right now who probably have that question about me, because I'm an imperfect person and I do imperfect things and I'm a sinful, broken person. If that's what they know about me and that's what they think about me, they could shake their finger at me and say, well, she's not a very good Christian. And then they list the fact that I'm a sinner. Well, that's the first part of being a Christian, is the sinner part. So how do you, as somebody who is applying your Christian faith as an excuse, a permission slip to sit out an election where you know that the outcome of your sitting out of that election could contribute to somebody who you know to be supporting things that are dramatically in the face of what God would want? I don't understand how you sit out and feel good about that. How you sit and you feel like you draw out this, like, you're sitting, in my mind, you're like sitting cross-legged on the ground and you draw out this little square and you're like, well, we're all good right here.
Yeah, you know what? And that's I've known many people and Christians who there are people on the left who do this too. I'm not saying this is exclusive to Christians who vote or don't vote, but people who draw this sort of ideological box around probably themselves and say,
because you know everything about yourself and you're the only one who knows everything about yourself.
And that's fine. But you say, basically, these are the parameters with which I will not leave. Somebody has to come into this box for me to give my stamp of approval / vote to them. And the left does this too. It's usually far-reaching social agenda stuff that they say, this is the box. You got to come in this box. And if you don't, I'm voting for Cornel West or whatever it is. And I think Trump's been a part of this. I have moved from beyond that to realize that part of the process politically should happen in the primaries. It should happen. I'm not saying abandon your beliefs and your ideology. Stick to it.
And if your primary doesn't produce that type of candidate, you have cultural work to do.
You still should vote. Render unto Caesar, my friends. What is Caesar's? Still, you got to go vote, and you got to pick the person who's the closest to that box that you've created. That's all it is. That's as simple as it gets.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because when you read the Bible calls Christians to be the salt and the light of the earth. And when you study what salt is a preservative. You have a responsibility as a Christian to try to preserve the culture, try to preserve the moral righteousness of the culture. So that means that you have to vote for the best choice of your two choices and do what you can to keep things where they should be. and move it in that direction.
And triple your efforts culturally to create an environment that produces more biblically sound people.
And you remember 2012? I had a good conversation with a good friend of mine who really does not like Donald Trump. And I said, did you vote for Romney? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, did you agree with everything Romney did? And it's ideal that we just had Romney before Trump, because he's the other sort of extreme of Republicans where you go, he is not even close to what I would want out of a president, but I'd rather have him than Barack Obama in 2012, so I voted for Romney. I don't agree with Romney on a lot of things, but it was the same principle at play.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll get to the results when we come back. We do need your thoughts on this important question. Is Donald Trump a Christian? Yes, no, or it doesn't matter. We have 364 votes so far. Let's see how many we can get over the break here, see if we can add a few more. Wibbs said it's not a deal breaker. Ender said doesn't matter. And as I've seen a couple others say, I don't think it matters overall either. People don't look at him to be the ideal Christian, and people aren't really voting on that. I just want to keep following up. Like, what's the ideal Christian? Man, Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
All the things we thought weren't proper could be.
This
right
is the
behind
Annie Frey
you,
Show.
can you see?
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I can never see what's right and what is wrong. Did it take too long to see? Amy, what
The Diamond Shop, the wonderful people at the Diamond Shop, one of the longest partners that I've had here on the Annie Frey Show, going back to even my Saturday days. I love them. They are wonderful when it comes to turning you over to them. I feel very comfortable and confident that after you have had the Diamond Shop experience when it comes to purchasing jewelry, that you are going to understand why the Diamond Shop is generationally the jeweler for families in St. Louis. When you've been around since 1910, you've been doing something right. They're in Clayton right now, and tomorrow, Thursday, October 17th, do not miss their Sip and Shop event. Do you know somebody, or are you about to get engaged, looking to get engaged, looking to purchase a ring? You want to go to this event tomorrow because engagement rings are 30% off that night. Tomorrow, engagement rings 30% off. And when you make your purchase, you're going to get a $100 credit towards your future purchase of a wedding band. Find all the details online at thediamondshop.net.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process process ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote November 5th. Visit yourmissourijudges.org. That's yourmissourijudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
A lot of people subscribing to the Annie Frey YouTube page today. So if you haven't done that, you can. While you're there, you can see the YouTube live chat poll and vote in it. Is Donald Trump a Christian? We're going to give you the results of this poll, which can be yes, no, or doesn't matter here in just a couple minutes before the end of the show. 2:49, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. Mark Reardon getting set to go here on a Wednesday afternoon. We had to do a little switcheroo. Scott Jennings is going to be with us tomorrow. Brian Kilmeade with us today at 3:25. We get rolling here after Fox News at 3.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Ryan, yesterday you missed my story. Wish you would have been here for it. I told the story of what I did this weekend. Volleyball tournament over the course of the weekend, but then got home Monday being Columbus Day. Since we're all three married to teachers, different teachers, of course, and with Ryan, your kids, my kids, everybody was out of school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Monday?
Yeah.
So I took off.
Columbus Day.
You were traveling with your family. And so Monday, we decided that we were going to switch the bedrooms around in our house so our oldest daughter would have her own room.
We did the same thing this weekend.
Did you really?
Well, sort of. We switched the boys and yeah, basically.
Daunting.
Yeah, daunting.
Awful.
Because it was so messy.
This included taking apart our crib.
Oh, yeah? That's a big moment.
Do you remember doing that?
Well, we had one of those convertible cribs that you just take a piece
So a
off here
toddler
and
bed?
there, and then it becomes a bed. And yeah, so it didn't happen all at once.
Ours just came down.
All right. How'd you feel?
Well, I cried yesterday on the air.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. It was not
Oh, man,
good.
I got to go back and watch that now. Just so I can laugh a little bit, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
Did your wife have trouble going through those put the baby things away?
I think so.
Your oldest or twins?
Yeah, that's the thing is that when we'd get through a phase with the twins, we were just happy because we like, oh my gosh, we made it. With the younger one though, we kind of went back through all that, and
I don't know if this is too personal of a question, but when you had your second pregnancy, but your third child, did you know this was going to be it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we pretty much knew.
During the pregnancy?
Yeah.
Okay. So you, because I think it's different with Evelyn, who's my third, not my fourth. With Evelyn, we were going through life things and like endings were happening. And I remember saying to my husband, I'm not ready for this to be over, but I'm also not ready to talk about having another child. But I don't want to live all of these moments like this is the last this and this is the last that. And that was with our third. And so I kind of shifted into maybe we'll have a fourth. And then, of course, obviously that ended up happening. I'm 40. I can't have another kid. Like, I can't go through pregnancy again. I can't do it. So it's like, and also when you get to when you get rid of the diapers or whatever, you get rid of the schlepping of as much stuff each time that when you don't have to do formula anymore or whatever. It's like sad if you let it be, but it's also if you can shift your mental focus, it becomes kind of exciting, like the next thing.
I typically don't have those things, but I will tell you this: my 7-year-old, he's going to be our last that we know of anyway, unless God has other plans. We were theme parking this weekend, and
Which one?
we went to California. So we went to Universal out there, and then we went to Legoland and Knott's Berry Farm. We didn't do Disney.
You didn't do Disney?
No, we didn't.
Never been to Disney.
I haven't either. We just did the other ones. And I realized as we were walking around those parks, he's 7 years old. He's still grabbing my hand.
Oh, I have a picture of Charlie grabbing my hand at about that age. I took a picture. I'm like, this will end.
Yeah.
I make him hold my hand every once in a while, and he stands when he's 14 and a half. When he stands and holds my hand, he doesn't hold it. He lets me hold his hand. There's no reciprocation. And I'm like, love your mother. And then he'll kind of squeeze it, and he'll look at me. And the one thing that my son doesn't, when I hug him, he will not end the hug. But I think his dad told him that. He's like, hug until she lets go.
At that age, my oldest, Sinjin, well, Sonny too, but Sinjin specifically, I told him, there's going to be a day where you don't want to hold your dad's hand anymore. And he's like, oh, yeah? Just to prove me wrong, he still will in public every now and then. And then he'll look at me like, what do you think now? What, you think you were right? Because you're clearly not.
That's a huge win.
So, well, I guess I'll just take it. I'll take the loss.
Guess I'm the real loser here.
Right.
It was very difficult. I had them take a picture in front of the crib, and then I had no makeup on, long weekend, just threw the ponytail up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be in this. I'm glad I took the photo. But I shared that yesterday, and it was, the thing about it was that shocked me so much is that I hadn't, until that day, thought about having to take the crib down to do all this moving thing. But when they were all with me, and my husband was like, so how are we going to do this? And I was talking about, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And then when I got to the point where we need to take the crib down, I couldn't even say the words. I was still laying in my bed, and I put the sheets over my head and was like, I'm just going to cry. I'm just going to let it out.
You're just going to go watch Cribs all night.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Sounds like a horror movie.
Cribs.
Tell another crying story. You got a minute.
No, we got to do the poll.
Oh, okay.
YouTube live chat poll. Ethan, you got the results for us?
Here we go. 391 votes. Is Donald Trump a Christian? 25% say no. 35% say it doesn't matter. And winning today's poll, 40% saying yes.
Man,
Donald
that's
Trump
really
is
close.
a Christian.
The 40% say yes, and 35% say it doesn't matter. It's changing a little bit right now as votes are still coming in.
Now it's 41%.
Only 25. Yes. One in four say that no, he's not a Christian.
Yeah, I could have seen this poll going any number of directions. So the thing that surprises me is that I don't know, this question does matter to me. So people saying it doesn't matter, I guess what they're saying is,
I'm one of them.
Yeah, that I'm going to vote for somebody based on their policies. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. I'm happy to see that 40% think he is, though, as well. I think it's an interesting question. I think it's one that he's tried to play very specifically, politically, and he's left it that way for this campaign. If Donald Trump should win his second term on November 5th, we are going to see a Donald Trump we haven't seen before as president because there's no new election around the corner.
Yeah, unfettered.
It will be very interesting to see how that happens. Since we talked about it all day, if you're a praying person, don't forget to pray for your country. Mark Reardon with the Brett Baer interview coming up next.
When Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, 1, my premiums are too much. 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Hey, I know a lot of you grilling aficionados and cooks. You know about Andrea's, and it's part of your regimen. That's not me. I think part of the reason is because I've grown up with Andrea's sauce, and it makes everything so easy that I never really had to become a great cook. I just kind of used Andrea's on everything, and it tastes great. So if you're leaving before work and you just want to put whatever you're making your protein in Andrea's sauce that morning, that's great. We'll sometimes just, as it's happening, put Andrea's on top of a pork tenderloin, for instance. I use that a lot because we do that a lot. And then, you don't have to do any prep. Like, it's really amazing. So those who are in the know, get Andrea's sauce, make it, continue to make it a part of your regimen. You already know about it, though. It's those of you who don't know that I'm talking to. When you see it at Dierberg's or Schnucks, you should pick up a bottle. It's on the end caps pretty often. So grab a bottle of Andrea's sauce or at andreas.com.
This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-373-0322. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-373-0322. 800-373-0322. Once again, that's 800-373-0322.